Good evening. How are we doing? We're back with more Shadowrun. I thought I'd start a bit earlier today because I'm aware that last session... it was a lot of talking. 3 hours and a bit of talking. Which, you know, is good. But also, my god, lore dump. Every single NPC wants to give you his life story. But we did it all. We talked to everybody. We have a few things to do. I got some rest. Go to the Emperor's Museum. I thought I had an email from someone to say, meet me immediately. Pending jobs. Wolf, I need you to come to the parlour. A friend and business partner of mine named Dr. Shenyang has need of your services. Something about attending a fancy party in Repulse Bay. Yeah, that was it. That was it. Oh, meet kindly's friend. It's not even an optional. Huh. Head to DECCON 2056 for Isabel's job. Let's go do that. The good news is, we already talked to everyone last time, right? Kraken! We've changed it to the Kraken. The original name has been sloppily painted over with black paint. Freshly painted characters have been recently done in bold brushstrokes and read Kraken. Perfect. What we didn't do last time was go into the bar and talk to the people in here. So we could have a little nip in here and see whether anyone here wants to talk to X-Blow. A wiry elven woman leans over the bar, propped up on one elbow. She glances back at you over her shoulder as you approach, lifting a half-empty glass to her lips. The selection here is total crap, but it's cheap. I hope you're not looking for quality, or you're going to be really disappointed. Damn, and I was hoping for some classic cocktails. If you ask real nice, I think they've got some tonic water in the fridge. Aside from that, you're as likely to get drain cleaner as you are a splash of the bitters. Even a simple Manhattan's probably beyond the means of this joint. Call me X-Flow, by the way. Maybe we can help each other. How do you mean? I've got good eyes for people in the business, and believe me, you smell like Shadowrunners and Nuyen. Plus, everyone here has been talking about Kindly's new hired help. I'm out here for work. You need any backup? I'm available. What's your specialty? I'm what the Eggheads call a Mystic Adept, a kind of physical adept magician. I throw spells and I can kill with a touch. I'm rarer than unicorns, my friend. Cheers. Where are you from? All over, really. Born and raised in Sydney, but ever since I was 15, I've been travelling anywhere there's work. Not a whole lot of opportunities for a street kid whose only skills relate to beating people up. I've lived in Paris, London, Vladivostok, Caracas, hell, I even spent a year in Johannesburg, but Azania is full of assholes. It's a hell of a lot of moving around. You gotta go where the work is, especially if you don't have a full crew. Whenever someplace gets too hot, I just move along to where there's more money and less law. It's not an easy way to make a living, but the idea of being tied down sounds like hell to me. How'd you get into this life? I grew up on the streets, running with gangs. Turns out, if you get in enough street fights and have magical potential, things just naturally express themselves. Once that happens, I realised I could charge a lot more than the protection rackets I'd been running. Besides, it's not like I know how to do anything else. I've never been to school, I'm sinless, what else am I going to do? Panhandle for change? Shake down stuffer shacks for beer money? No thanks, mate. I'd rather life fast, hit hard, and burn out. You got any good runner stories? Yeah, I got a couple. There was one time I signed on with some mercs in Eastern Europe. They had a job to do near Krasnodarsky Krai. lifting some Abkhazian military software. The plan was pretty simple. We'd halo jump from a drone on the Russian side of the border, hike in towards the Abkhazian research facility, and blast our way in. Abkhaz forces were supposed to be Matrix hotshots, but crap in ground combat. Simple, right? No plan ever survives first contact with the enemy, though. Turns out the Abkhazian army had contracted out base security to Winter Systems. We started getting cut apart before we'd even breached the first cordon. Sounds like a suicide mission. The Mercs were in pretty dire straits financially. It was a do-or-die situation for them, literally. They owed too many debts, and if they couldn't deliver, they'd have been killed, so we pushed in. We were down to 5 of us by the time we got into the main facility. One of the Mercs, Vaclav, was a rigger. We were hunkered down in a vehicle bay while the decker did his business, and Vaclav realised one of the APCs hadn't been properly locked down, and it was still gassed up. Came out of that base with the 30mm cannon blazing away. Our exit was down at the coast. A riverline patrol boat the Mercs had on standby. It was some nervous fighting, but we managed to get out. A bit full of holes, sure, but we survived. And that's what counts, hey? Bye. Anything else? Nope. You got anything for me, Henry? Back again, eh? Not just another ship passing in the night, huh? I'm just a landlubber. Reckon you're not? You reckon right, though I haven't been on the water in far too long. Sounds like you miss it. Do I not strike you as the king of island nightlife? You can take the man out of the ocean, but not the ocean out of the man. Ain't that the truth? So how can I help? What was it like on the high seas? Better when I was younger. Things were simpler then, if not terribly profitable. Got my start on fishing trawlers, just barely scraping by. Good folk though. Over the years I made a name for myself, as one does. Got more regular work on better crews, eventually earned a spot on a tugboat. Spent the bulk of my years crewing ocean-going tugs for Wuxing. The big ships, the tankers, the bulkers, the container ships, the seabed miners, all are run by technical crews and computers now. On the smaller merchant boats, there was still a little seafaring left, but not much. But on the tugs, the supply boats, the salvage craft, that's where there's still a place for old-time sailors. It matters if you can wrap a cable on a winch in 30-foot seas, jury-rig a diesel engine, and keep a boat on course with just the wheel and the binnacle after the bridge windows all blow out. It was a hard life, but a good one. Why does a man give up drinking or sell his trike or throw out his porn collection? For a woman, of course. And I had me one hell of a woman. Still do. This place was her dream. A business. A home. For us together. Hard to deny the worth in that, no matter how much I miss what I once had. No sir, no regrets. Evening, Callum Cafe at your service. You forget me already? Maybe I have. I suppose one of us didn't make much of an impression. You're kind of bitchy when you're sober. I agree, and I intend to work on that. How many shots does it take to lay out someone your size? I'll let you know if it ever happens. I'd like to know a little more about you. Me? Why would you want to know about me? I'm nothing. I sling poison to the dregs of Hyoi. It's not like I ever wanted anything more than this, right? I can see it on your face. You can probably see it all over mine. What good would an education serve someone like me? Why would I ever consider making something of myself? To go places? Sure, I can fill out a suit like nobody's business. But people see a troll in Armani and they see an organ grinder's monkey. No, this is the place for me. This is where I belong. Somebody's bitter. Back again, I see. Didn't catch your name before. Didn't catch yours either. I'm Wolf. Ermine Cafe. Pleased to meet you. We get a lot of passers through. After their business with the dockmen or the Yellow Lotus, they get escorted here to relax and shop, then they leave. I'm happy to never know their names, but you're a different story, aren't you? Why? Not much yet. What can I do for you? Tell me a bit more about this place. Club 88? We bought it 10 years ago. Before that, my husband crewed ships for Wuxing. He'd been gone for weeks or sometimes months at a time, and I was sick of it. Raising 2 boys on my own? Troll boys? Bah! We needed something more stable, and I needed a husband at home. So he retired, and we put everything we had saved into this place. The 88 stands for good fortune, and the club has proven worthy of the name. Only some people appreciated that success instead of whining about things that will never be. Have you heard of a man named Raymond Black? I seem to recall a blurb on the news, but I didn't pay much attention. Not a name I know, and if it was a name worth knowing, I'd know it. Okay, bye. That's it, that's all the talking. I did find out, actually, I think a big reason why there is so much dialogue in this game is one of the Kickstarter goals was for people to get their characters into the game, and I think a lot of these like random street NPCs are those people's those people's characters. There's a little factoid for you. I'm full of useful knowledge. Right. Let's go do a mission. We want to go to DECCON. Isabel must be present. I was going to say. And I can take one more person. Who should we take? The rigger. The shaman. I'm going to take Gobbet. The OGs. Let's take the OG crew. A chartered bus carries you from Kai Tak to a mid-range hotel in Suan Wan. All around you, the happy chatter of your fellow passengers fills your ears. You hear tech speak in a variety of languages and dialects, talk about new lines of drones and decks, arguments over innovations in datajet technology, and baseless speculation about the next season of Urban Brawl. Your guest badge, a glossy slip of laminated paper emblazoned with a flashy logo, hangs on a lanyard around your neck. Your ticket into the convention hall, and the only disguise that you should need. The bus drops you in front of the Harbour Spires Hotel, and you promptly circle around the back to find a service entrance. Isabel should be waiting for you inside. Isabel, are you waiting for me inside? I certainly hope so. Alright, the service entrance to the Harbour Spires Hotel looks just like any other. Scuffed walls coated in chipped paint, a floor of well-worn hardwood, a time card reader hanging from the wall at a slight tilt. Nothing about the dingy utilitarian confines of the room that you're in hints at the elegance and fine decor of the hotel beyond. It smells like clams in here. Clams and something else. Tequila maybe? Some kind of sour liquor? It's hard to tell. Your earpiece crackles to life. Isabel, coming from the women's lavatory. Wolf, you in position? Yep. Alright, so far. Good. This doesn't bode well. Are you going to be giving us instructions over the comm? Yeah, hang on a sec. Now try to boost our signal strength. Sound cuts out entirely. There, that's better. What a pain in the ass this is. There's way too much interference coming from the show floor. We aren't going to be able to rely on our comms links for this. I'll find a workaround. I hope you do it fast. The entire plan hinges on our being able to communicate. Like I said, I'll find a workaround. For now, let's concentrate on the task at hand. The catering staff should all be in the kitchen, hauling trays of steamed clams and aperitifs out to the convention hall floor. Hold it. I'm going to need you to find your way into one of their uniforms, one that will fit my size. Find a dwarf-sized catering uniform. I'm on it. Good. And Wolf, we aren't going loud yet. Got it? Whatever you do, don't start shooting. We can't afford to set Rhombus running before we can get him cornered. No shooting until we have Rhombus. Got it. Okay. Here's an alarm panel. Forge admin level access and browse the panel's file structure. You enter the subroutine to trigger the kitchen sprinklers while at the same time suppressing the fire alarms they're attached to. The sound of chaotic movement and yelps of alarm sound out from the direction of the kitchen. It sounds as though the catering staff is attempting to flee the room. The damn sprinklers went off again. The entire kitchen was flooded, and Chef Bun quit. We're going to have to go with third-party caterers for the big event this weekend, because we sure as hell can't steam a few thousand clams without kitchen staff. Okay. Or I could send a drone into the vent. I don't have a drone. The wall vent looks large enough to accommodate a standard security drone. I can't. Wah. Okay, here we go. Here's a dwarf-sized uniform. Yoink. Holy moly, look at all this. I just want to do a really quick recce of the room. Just in case there's anything interesting. I mean, luckily for us, we really fit in around here. What's with those lights? Not sure. Right, let's go. Hello, shady man. In the toilets. A sketchy-looking man in a long, shabby coat stands in the middle of the bathroom floor, teetering on his feet. He blinks at you through red-rimmed eyes crusted over with sleep. Hey there, are you, the Imperator? Because if you are, I got your stuff. Yes. Great, great, great. Here, you want to see the whole stock, or do you just want to buy the items that we discussed? See your whole stock. Oh, you're a druggie. Just give me what we agreed on, I guess. Alright, here to warn you though, the Hyper EX ain't cheap. It's the bottle. You're going to have to fish it out if you want it, and be careful. I think that there are a few loose needles in there. Okay. It's just drugs. I don't want your drugs. I'm clean. You enter the women's restroom to find Isabel waiting impatiently for you. Her guest badge dangles on its lanyard at a canted angle, and the clumped ropes of her hair look frazzled. At the sight of you, she steps forward. You're here. Good. I was getting tired of hanging out in the ladies' room. You have the uniform? Yes. Good. This'll work. One question for you. Why is the thing soaking wet? I might have activated the sprinklers in the kitchen a bit. Wolf, why do you have to destroy everything you touch? Asks the woman with the grenade launcher. She stares at you for a moment longer, then closes her eyes. Anyway, I'm going to change into this wet, disgusting jacket and hightail it to the employees-only door on the far side of the convention hall. They'll let me in, even without a badge. They'll just figure that some rich guy wants a drink. I'll have to cross the show floor to do it, but that should be safe enough. Nobody pays attention to the catering staff at these things. I do. Nobody who isn't preoccupied with stuffing a face pays attention to the catering staff. That is fair. So I'll make my way across, pass through the door, and take the elevator up to the admin wing on the 6th floor. All that you need to do is take your position and wait for my instructions without raising an alarm. It's pretty simple stuff, should be foolproof, assuming that you don't screw everything up. Do you have any questions? Have you figured out what to do about the spotty comlink? Yes, there's a demo kiosk near the VIP entrance. It's running some new Matrix avatar, editing suite, or something like that. Software's called Perfect Persona. When I get into the admin area, I'm going to patch myself into the Perfect Persona console. Then we're going to communicate through that. It isn't a perfect solution, but it beats having to deal with a drop connection. Just be sure to grab the kiosk when you're in position. Don't let anyone else get to it. And what am I supposed to do again? Wait by the VIP area door. When I identify Rhombus, you'll apprehend him and tell him that he's lucky the winner of a complimentary VIP pass upgrade. You'll escort him through the VIP doors and to a room that I'll have empty and waiting. Then we'll all get the software, beat him up and stash him in a closet. What should I do between when you leave and when you get in position? Walk the show floor, mingle, try to look like you belong. Just try not to say or do anything that'll stand out in a bad way. You're supposed to be a hot new decker in town. Try to act the part. Okay, I can do this. I can do this. I got this. Hello, I'm a hot new decker. Who's this man? I apparently can't do anything with him. A pot-bellied troll with 2 days worth of mangy stubble smiles and turns to face you. Hey, what's going on? Strange to see someone at DECCOM without a cyber deck. Could say the same about you. Where's your deck, man? I don't have one. I'm here to cover the event for the Shadowrun BBS. Really? Hey, that's pretty whiz. Are you interviewing people? Because I can tell you all about the new hotness in decking technology. No thanks. I'm talking about what I've got up here, the Cranial Cyber Deck. It's the perfect fusion of next-level deck and bleeding-edge headwear. It's the apex of modern decking technology, miniaturized, compact, easy to sneak into the most sensitive of locations. I don't need to lug a great big external deck around with me anymore. It's a night and day difference between this and my old Fairlight Excalibur friend. Night and day. Are you enjoying the con? It's great. I've gotten to tell a lot of people about my new deck. You know, spreading the word, educating folk. It feels good to save my fellow deckers from wasting their money on old external decks. I guess you could call me a cranial deck evangelist. Haha! Just between you and me, you're coming off on a little strong. You might want to back off a little. Like you know anything. Bad place for you to do it. This entire show is a pissing contest in case you didn't know. Walking around without a deck is like, well, use your imagination. Where's your deck? It's up here. Why get a deck installed in your head? Why wouldn't I? It's compact, it's versatile, it's fast and powerful. With this sweet baby, I can deck wherever I go, whenever I want, without having to lug something the size of an electronic keyboard around with me. It's got the best of all worlds, I'm telling you. You've got to go get one for yourself. This guy's an idiot. Cranial cyberdecks are a terrible idea for more reasons than I can count. Deckers swap out their gear every couple of months. You want someone monkeying around in your brain that often? I'll make it easy for you. You don't. So, have I sold you on a head deck of your own yet? Come on, you know that I have. Wouldn't you have people poking around in your head every time you need an upgrade? Well, I guess, but that thing's going to be obsolete within 6 months. Then you're going to what? Get more brain surgery? It's no different from installing the encephalon, and everyone does that. What do you know anyway? Nothing. Not a thing. Leave me alone. Strange to see someone here. I'm doing that. He wants to interview. No thanks. Where'd you get your cranial deck? The Chop Chop shop in Kowloon City. They told me not to ask where it came from. Lots of things fall off trucks out Kowloon way. I'm sure that this was the same. Okay, bye. Okay, that was an interesting conversation. Now we can talk to this guy. Your comlink crackles. Okay, I've jacked into the admin compute imitive, but I can work with it. Are you in position yet? No. Head to the waiting position near the VIP entry and use the kiosk. Remember, perfect persona. Use the perfect persona kiosk to talk to you. Copy that. while you're getting there, I'll start working on getting VIP access, locating ROM. Got it. There is no response. If you want to look around the show floor anymore, we should probably do it before we hit up that kiosk. I know Iz. As soon as we call her back, she's going to want to be all hyper-focused on the job. No more time to socialise or line up for noodle extruder. Yeah, I want to look around a bit more. We got people to talk to. As you approach the corner of the convention floor, you find a bright lit entrance. There are signs saying Simpson's Parlour. Sorry to say it, but we're a bit crammed right now. If you hang in tight, we should be able to squeeze you in soon. There's maybe a half-hour wait. Please. Places like this never run at full capacity. You can make a few VIP slots in the back, right? We're full up. I don't know how else to say it. You need to wait like everybody else. Stay cool and we'll get you in as soon as possible. Look, you're going to want me in there. There's a worm floating around the demo kiosks and I traced it to one of the machines in that room. A worm? What do you mean? Malicious software. It's crashing the kiosks and stealing login information. Let me in so I can fix it. Okay, you're in. If there's a problem, you fix it. Take as much time as you need. Yoink. 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 What is this? A rack of high-capacity stick memory devices, patent pending. Hello, convention goer. Mr. Wolf doesn't have any obvious headwear, but his hands are lined with artfully designed induction pads. Line starts back there. Better take your place now if you want to get in on this. The food court gets busy around this time of day. Examine his badge. The name of the badge is Grimson. What's worth ordering from the vending machines? Nothing, but getting a bowl from the noodle extruder is a DECCON tradition. You just do it, whether you want to or not. Isn't the show catered? Why bother with the vending machines? Tradition, like I said. The convention is under new management this year, and they're trying to go all upscale on us. We're trying to show that we don't need all that. Give me a cheap bowl of extruded noodles and I'm a happy man. I don't need an underpaid teenager in a clown suit to bring me clams and call me sir. Me, I dump the clams in the noodles. Or, wait, this is better. I dump the clams into the vending machine. It has to have an intake hopper somewhere, right? Why? Because then it could make clam noodles, shellfish in pasta form. That would be amazing, right? They go with everything. Keep her away from the machine. I wanted to compliment you on your cyber hands. Thanks, they're custom. It's surprisingly hard to find induction pads that aren't hidden under synthetic skin. They're a work of art. Who designed them for you? I know a guy out of Neo-Tokyo. Works at one of Renraku's chibi clinics. I got him to make the thing for me. Cost an arm and a leg. Both arms and no legs, if you want to get technical about it, but it was worth it. Okay, bye. A hot noodle dispenser, complete with extruded settings for ramen, lami, and juicing, and something. The newest iteration of Shiawase's Sculpt IT. Sculpted something, something, something. An elderly decker with a nickel-plated data jack turns to face you. Ain't this a hell of a thing? Lovely show, lovely show. Lots and lots of shiny toys. Are you here to see anything specific? Got my eyes on a couple of things this year. I'm going to check out the Fairlight booth, of course, and Fuchi's doing some interesting things with miniaturization. You know, when I was just getting started, it would have taken an entire warehouse full of machines to match the computing power of the PDA on your wrist. No, scratch that. They wouldn't have come close. Yeah, well, Moore's Law hasn't been proven wrong yet. No, that it hasn't. You know, I've decided that I like you. Ain't many deckers that'll take time to chat with an old dwarf on the show floor these days. Anyway, I've taken up plenty of your time already. I'm sure that you have exhibits you want to see, unless you wanted something else. Wolf, and you are? Call me Turtle. I've been going to DECCON for damn near 20 years now, but it's never looked half as nice as it does now. Looks like it's gotten pretty commercial. You're not wrong there. Lots of corporate money flowing into this thing these days. I've heard the guy who first organised the show sold out to some big promoter, took home a 6-digit paycheck. Lots of young guys have been bitching and moaning all over Shadowland about that, but not me. I've been around long enough to know the score. Someone offers you that kind of money, you take it. Where'd you get your handle from? Turtle is a funny name for a decker. An old piece of software, something that went obsolete well before your time. Guess I'm showing my age, but something about this little cluster of pictols made me happy. Gotta keep moving, Turtle. Enjoy the show. What's that a reference to, I wonder? I just don't know. What is going on with this game? Hello, convention goer. Judging by the patches sewn into his bomber jacket, this elf is from the NAN, Council Island to be specific. A forested chunk of rock in the middle of Lake Washington that was called Mercer Island until the Native American nation reclaimed it. He doesn't look Amerindian, though. Amerindian, come on. If anything, he looks Chinese in descent, though his mask makes it hard to tell for sure. He turns to face at your approach. His features are mostly hidden, but you see that he's sporting a high steel collar and spiky hair. His cheeks are high-boned and hollow. Hey, you want something from me? What's up? I just wanted to get to know my fellow Congoers. You from Council Island? Yeah, what gave me away? You from Seattle? Yeah, thereabouts. No, Drek. Well, it's good to meet you, chummer. Council Island is NAN territory, and you don't look Amerindian. What's your deal? I'm not Amerindian. I do live on Council Island, though. My dad is a diplomat for the Tin and Og, and we live on the island. Actually, they treat us like kings there. That does sound pretty good. Gotta admit I'm jealous. You should be. My dad is related by marriage to the minor member of the Connaught family. That makes us a big deal back in Tin and Og, and an even bigger deal on Council Island. They love us in our country. We share a connection with the land and all that bullshit, so I get to do whatever I want. It's a pretty great life. Anything in specific that you're here to see? Yeah, I'm here to check out the 57 Fuchi Cyberdecks. My 55 Cyber 7 is barely cutting it these days. I want to see what they're coming out with next year, and I've heard that they have a demo station. So tell me, what's your favourite new ESP for incursion operations? I like Blast Hammer personally. Heard of it? It's open source, developed by the Southeast Asian Deccan community. Does a number on Blocker IC. Blast Hammer is old hat, and most of the big corps have easy counters for it. Keep relying on that relic and you're going to wind up in the morgue. Really? Wow. I didn't know. Oh, do I just be an absolute asshole? You should have known. Here's a pro tip. If you ever want to blend in with the professional Deccan community, learn your stuff before you try to impress someone. Well, thanks for the advice. I'm kind of new in town, in case you hadn't guessed. It's alright. I am too. I'm not that much of an asshole. I don't really do the small talk thing much. It isn't my thing. Okay, bye. Oh, I was such an asshole. I'm sorry. Terminal's running the demo of AzTechnology's new format-agnostic Cyberdeck calibration software. Hello, tired attendee. The man standing at the AzTechnology demo station looks strangely out of place at a Decker convention. He isn't carrying a Cyberdeck, and you can't see any sign of cyberware on his person, not even a data jack. Did you want to use this? Am I in your way? Use astral perception. The aura of the man in front of you crackles like a bonfire. He's magically active, very much so. His entire body scintillates with barely contained magic. As your third eye flutters shut, colour and vibrance return to the world. So, if you're not here for the kiosk, was there something else you needed? I mean, his visitor badge. Cheap day pass, only good until the show floor closes tonight. The name field says Gamji in Block letters. You aren't a Decker, you're an adept. Why do you say that? Because I read your aura. Then you're as out of place as I am. Look, I'm here to relax and get off the streets. They've got free clams and free wine, and everybody but you seems happy to keep to themselves, so leave me in peace, okay? Look, I think you're here on a job. I am too. Just want to make sure that we don't step on each other's toes. His eyes flick to the far door and back again. Slowly they shift back to you. My target's name is Ezekiel. Extraction job. Should be quick and quiet. You? Rhombus. Intimidation gig. Doesn't sound like we have any overlap. No, doesn't sound that way. Good looking out. Now, if you wouldn't mind, I really need to keep my eyes on that door. When he comes waltzing through, I need to be there with a plate of clams and a chloroformed rag. Chloroform, huh? Pulling out the old classics? If it ain't broke. Anyway, best of luck on your run. Okay, you suspicious mofo. These Deckers look different from many of the others on the floor. As you approach, you can see their quiet confidence in their postures and steel in their eyes. Unlike their peers, these are professional Shadowrunners. Maybe you could help settle this. My colleagues and I have a difference of opinion on the relative merits of mid-range cyberdecks. Would you agree that the Fuji Virtua X is the best mid-range deck in its class? You always do this, Harridan. You word your question to lead strangers into giving answers that you prefer. Now the community consensus is that Virtua X is just an overpriced rehash of the Cyber 6 in a nicer looking case. Oh, shut up, Bias. You're doing the same thing. Besides, everyone knows that Fuji is going down the tubes. Villiers is pulling assets out of the company and transferring them into his other holdings as fast as he can get away with it. So if Fuji is collapsing in on itself, and Fairlight doesn't do any mid-range machines, then Allegiance is obviously primed to... Novahot here is Allegiance's #1 supervan, in case you couldn't tell. Never mind the fact that their only current product, the Alpha, is woefully lackluster next to the competition. We've been going around and around on this for hours. So what do you think? Which deck is going to be best in class at the mid-range price point in 57? Hate to break it to you, but Fuji's going to stay on top in the mid-range market. The Virtua X will be best in class for its price point next year, just like it was this year. Fierce groans. Oh, come on. How can you still have confidence in Fuji? The president CEO of the company doesn't. Go to Shadowland and see for yourself. There's a whole mega-thread devoted to the subject. Richard Villiers is one of the savviest businessmen in the world. If you think that Fuji is failing, it's because he wants you to. I think that he's right. Villiers is no fool. He has to have some sort of ulterior motive for plundering the Fuji coffers. This wouldn't have gotten out at all if I didn't have some reason to want it to. You're all overthinking this. This is corporate greed, plain and simple. Villiers' company is going down the tubes, and he wants to take whatever he can before... I doubt it. I think that our new friend is right. It's too early to write Fuji off as a failure. The Virtua X is going to take it again, just like I said. If it doesn't, I'll eat my own encephalon. Thanks for helping us settle that, stranger. Now, is there anything we can do for you? Got any hot tips that a fellow Decker might find useful? Hey, join the club. Between travel arrangements and the transorbital flight out here, I'm a little behind on current events. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Wish that I could help you, but I sort of lose touch with the world the week of the con. How are you enjoying it? It's what people say. Bad food, a lot of antisocial people, and overpriced vendor kiosks. By the end of the weekend, I'm probably going to have measles and or the flu. To be perfectly honest, I don't even remember why we all fly out here every year. Bias, we come out here because you start to get excited about the show months in advance every year. You left me 15 voice messages to make sure that I remembered to book the hotel room. That's because I remember what happened in 52. I do enough sleeping on the street back home. I don't need to do it when I'm on vacation too. How many times do I have to apologize for that? I'll let you know when you can stop. Where are you from? Macau? I've got a house in Indonesia, spend most of my time in Seattle though. I'm from Phnom Penh, but I do a lot of work out here in Hong Kong. Okay, bye. See you around the show floor. Not for long. A working model of Fuji's new Cyber 7 Slim, a retooled Cyber 7 with a thinner form factor and a burnished aluminium case. Hello, Mr. Lin. Door behind the counter looks up from his sales sheets. He wearily recites what sounds like a rehearsed welcome. Welcome to Mr. Lynn's Big Time Data Shack. Special show prices for this event only. Feel free to browse. Okay. What do you got? What do you got? Wait, what do I have? Secure mage clothing, armor 1. But it looks like he does an armor 6. Hells yeah. Oh no, wait, I have armor 3. But it still doesn't do anything, so upgrade. And you're locked, I guess. Does that mean you... I can give them equipment. I do believe in fairies. I do. I do. I mean, I can also give you a spell. Oh, you already have it, actually. Nice. Okay, satisfied. Right, off we go. How am I looking now, actually? Wow, I look so cool. I'm incredibly happy. Right, are we ready to do this? The perfect persona kiosk flickers to life at your approach. Wolf, enter the following key code into this kiosk. Blah 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 blah. You tap the code into the kiosk keyboard. A moment later, a series of 5 loud popping sounds rattles off in your comlink. Isabel's voice fills your ear, crisper and cleaner than it was before. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me? Yep. A command line code for the kiosk to connect with your comlink via a direct line. This way we can bypass using comm signal entirely. Nice. I know. As long as you remain within a couple of feet of the kiosk, we shouldn't have any problems. 1 or 2 far, and you're going to get static again. So I can't move from this spot. That's what I said, right? Now that we're all linked up, give me a second and I'll locate Rhombus. The line falls silent. What the hell? He already has one. How the fuck does Rhombus merit a VIP pass when I don't? Let me guess. This is where the plan goes off the rails. I'm twice the decker that he is, and everybody knows it. What makes him a VIP when I'm not? Calm down, Isabel. At least we know where he is. Alright, I know which room he's staying in now. I'll just need a few minutes to update your VIP upgrade. That wasn't good. A series of clicks interrupts your ear, cutting Gobbert's sentence short. Your PDA begins blinking. You're receiving a video chat request. Isabel blossoms onto the screen along with a pair of towering security guards. The line that connected her to the admin terminal hangs loose from its socket. I'm going to ask you again, what the hell are you doing in here? Take your time and make sure you're telling the truth. I'll know if you don't. Well, I was just looking for the person who ordered this coffee. What? You were looking for him in the Matrix? And besides, you don't have any coffees. Try again. Well, I need to, Alright, Isabel, listen up. Say what I say and you'll be fine. Say okay if you understand. Okay. Last chance. Start talking sense or spend the night with HKPF. My co-workers sent me in here as a prank. I feel like such a fool. I feel dumb. We don't have time for this. Just kick her out and be done with it. Yeah, you're probably right. I'm going to let you go with a warning this time, but only this once. If I catch you anywhere near this room again, I'm turning you over to the police. Got it? But I... Are you ready to go loud? Because if you keep arguing with that guard, we're going to have to start shooting. Yes, sir. Good call. The line goes quiet as she moves out of the server room. Guide Isabel back to the convention floor. Okay. What a damn nightmare this is turning out to be. I'm sorry, Wolf. I couldn't get you your VIP access. You got Rhombus's room number though, right? Yeah, I got it. I can take you right there. There's only one problem. Without VIP access, you can't open the door without sounding an alarm. Picture on your PDA flickers. A moment later, Isabel's image returns. And let you through this side. That's what I'm going to do now. I'll make my way down to you and open the door. You just cut out again. I thought you'd fixed our communication issues. I did, but that fix required me to be jacked into the hotel's computer network, and I'm not anymore. I'm still using the kiosk to talk to you, but I can't route messages to it directly anymore. It'll still help, but it won't be perfect. Please stay put. If you lose that kiosk, we're going to start running into some serious communication issues. This is getting better and better. Oh, and I may need your help if we run into more people up here, Wolf. In case you hadn't guessed, I'm not exactly a social butterfly. And if things go loud, I'll really need your help. Okay. Okay, right. I have no idea where I'm supposed to be going. That looks promising. Isabel takes a quick glance at the terminal. I'll be damned. It's logged into an admin inbox, and somebody left it unlocked. I can't open the door from here, but we can read messages. Do it. Go to the machine, leave it unplugged, it came back, damage control. Open the first message. Look, I'm going to come right out and say it. The security guys are right. There's something horribly wrong with that noodle extruder. I ran a diagnostic on it this afternoon. I was halfway through the recalibrating the broth nozzles when the damn thing started humming. And sure enough, it started churning out steaming, hot, Duke-Sing noodles, just dumping them into the palms of my hands. You don't even want to see the blisters I'm sporting right now. Now here's the freaky thing. The dough hopper was empty. I unloaded it myself prior to the beginning of the diagnostic. I want to repeat that. It was producing dough out of thin air. That machine is haunted. You want my advice? You'll get rid of it before the show. Huh. I don't know what I was expecting in this message to be, but that wasn't it. Second message. The noodle extruder in the food court is out of order and should be left unplugged until further notice. Under no circumstances should any hotel or DECCON employee tamper with this device. Maintenance is looking into it. Again, do not plug in the extruder. Severe disciplinary action will be taken against any employee caught disobeying these instructions. Next. Okay, I'm getting seriously creeped out back over here. The damn noodle extruder is back, see? I can't explain it. We boxed the thing up yesterday and sent it to the manufacturer. It wasn't here 5 minutes ago. Now, when we've opened the doors and the show is underway, I'm strolling through the food court and there it is, just sitting there, with a line already forming. What the hell do we do? You and I both know that it doesn't have any dough in it. There's no seasoning in the spice reservoir, and we don't have it hooked up to the hotel's water supply. That fucking thing isn't even plugged in. Where are the noodles coming from? What do we do? It's too late, Nancy. At least a dozen people have already eaten from the thing. We can't shut it down now, and we sure as hell can't let anyone know about it. If people were to get sick, the show could be held liable. Look, if it's any consolation, I've been poring through the logs of old shows to see if anyone had mentioned the noodle extruder, and I found something. This exact conversation. 14 years in a row. I don't know what's happening with this machine. I don't know where it came from or how or why, but it's part of DECCON. Nobody can get rid of it. Nobody knows how it works, it just does. And people keep coming back to visit. I think that this is a blessing in disguise. That's what I'm telling myself anyway. Just don't question it. Everything will be okay. Okay, let's go. More computers. Info about the conference room schedule tells you about high-level exec in conference room 3 on the bottom floor. What's over here, huh? Oh, that's where I'm supposed to go. Yoink. Is this elevator music? Isabel's outline goes fuzzy the moment she sets foot in the elevator. A loud rhythmic whooshing sound dominates the low end of your PDA speakers. Sounds a bit like the rotors of a helicopter. Heads up, Isabel, we're getting a lot of interference here. An elf in his mid-20s steps aside to let Isabel at the floor selector panel. He looks wired, jittery, stemmed to the gills most likely. There's no telling how long it's been since he's gotten a wink of sleep. Working the show, huh? That has to be hard. I feel tempted to blow off work and go check out the kiosks, maybe take in a panel or two. Tell him this deck of stuff isn't really my cup of tea, I'm just here to work. This deck of stuff isn't really my... she falls silent. You can see her staring at the man's VIP badge. Just say what I tell you, Isabel. Don't go off script. Kind Ding, huh? That's an interesting street name. Been decking under it long? A couple of years now. Longer than anyone else to use the handle. I don't know what you're doing, but be careful. I know who you are. You're the one who shut down the Kowloon City power grid 6 months ago. Yeah, that was me. Let's just keep that between ourselves though, right? That little stunt screwed over a lot of local deckers. A couple of them soaked up nasty hits of dump shock because of it. You wrecked the grid while they were jacked into their home machines. My team was in a bind. They needed a power outage right then and there, or they were cooked, so I gave them one. It was the best solution to a bad situation. Let's leave it at that. There was this decker. She lived out in Hyoi. She called herself Spinster. She was a good person. Now she's in the ground. She never came back out of the coma that your stunt put her into. Slowly, Ding extends his hand towards the emergency brake. Snap out of it is. We aren't here for this guy, and we can't afford to start shooting yet. At least, that's what I heard. I'm just a caterer. I'm not a decker myself. Yeah, sure you're not. You've come to get me, haven't you? To take revenge for your friend. Did her people put out a contract on me? Is that it? I'm not a decker, honest. I'm just a caterer who spends way too much time lurking on the Shadowrun BBS. Abruptly, the connection cuts to static. Ah, that figures. The static pops and hisses. Finally, the picture warbles back into view. Kind Ding is mid-sentence, practically frothing with rage. Did what I had to do. If you were in my position, you'd have done the same if you'd have gotten them killed. There was no third way out of that scenario. I would not have... Isabel, stop. Listen to me. What? You're crazy. An insane person. And when I get out of this elevator, I'm going to hotel security. Tell him, I'm sorry. You're right, sir. I've been clinically diagnosed as a paranoid schizophrenic, and this morning I forgot to take my meds. Please don't tell anyone. If I lose my job, I lose my insurance. And you've seen what happens when I don't get my pills. Don't worry. Your secret's safe with me if mine's safe with you. This is getting old. He looks calmer. Remember what we discussed. You keep your cool, and this turns out well for the both of us. We live and let live. Understood? Yes, I didn't want any trouble from you in the first place. I'm just glad that it was all a misunderstanding. Please don't take this the wrong way, but I'll be happy if this is the last that I ever see of you. The feeling is mutual. Enjoy the rest of the show. Good lord. So... the hallway ahead is blocked with a trio of struggling bodies. A blackout drunk troll hung slung between a pair of cursing security guards. Unhand me, you foolish! Don't let her go, Ho Yi. She has the strength of 10 men. Yes, sir. Clear the hall. Oh, another roadblock. Great, another roadblock. You, dwarf girl, help me. These dreckheads want me to leave because I'm a troll. What's happening here? None of your business. You're not even hotel staff. You shouldn't be back here at all. Now clear the way and report to your manager. Quit fighting me, damn it, before I talk to him for you. Hey, I remember you. You said that you had to meet some caterers on the 6th floor. What are you doing down here? Tell them, sorry, I had to get more fuel canisters for the chafing dishes. We were told that you had some here. We need more fuel for the chafing dishes. The buffet's getting cold. There was supposed to be some here. Why would we keep cooking supplies here? If anything, they'd be in the kitchen. Say, look, I only did what I'm told. My boss said to come here, so I did. You do what your asshole boss tells you, don't you? Nice embellishment. The guard looks at her boss. Captain strains obviously against the captive's flailing arms, oblivious to everything but his own struggle. Look, just hurry back to the kitchen and get out of our hair. Good job, Isabel. This is exhausting. No more improvisation from me. I'm done with this. From now on, I'm your parrot. Just tell me what to say and I'll say exactly that. After what happened in the elevator, I think that's a good call. Okay, right. That is still a locked door. This one, however, is not. Oh my god. An impressive looking man in a starched white coat blocks the hallway. What are you doing back here? We went over this in the staff meeting this morning. I'm the one who's covering this area. The VIPs are to be handled by managers only. You should be on the convention hall floor. I know, sorry, they sent me back here, but I think it was a prank. And you fell for that? You had specific instructions to stay on the show floor. I didn't know. I'm new here. Yeah, no shit. I don't recognize... New here? You must be joking, man. You've been on that kiosk for 20 minutes now. Wait. Excuse me? What? I said, it's time to get off the damn demo kiosk. You've been hogging it for way too long, and there's a line here. Just give me 5 more minutes. Just give me 5 more minutes and it's all yours. What's all mine? What are you talking about? You aren't even one of our employees, are you? Do I need to get security? I said that's enough. We've been following the devs of this software for months now, and I travelled 17 hours to try it by myself. Be my guest. I work for this hotel's owner. The security team is going to take my word over yours. Oh yeah? And what do you do here exactly? Tell me why I have to wait on you. Be my guest. I work for this hotel's owner. The security team's going to take my word over yours. You work for the owner? So then you're not a pastry magic employee? So then why are you wearing one of our uniforms? I'm here to check up on the vendors here at the show. Tech vendors, the catering crew, all of it. To make sure the reputation of our venue isn't tarnished. Huh. Well, okay, I guess. Just try to make it quick, okay? I really want to get my hands on that software, and I'm not leaving until I do. Oh, you're like a secret shopper, that sort of thing. Well, I hope you'll tell employees that Pastry Magic and More Catering went above and beyond the call of duty to respect your hotel and its rules. Yeah, I will. In the convention hall, the deck that you were arguing with backs away to a respectable distance. The catering manager steps aside to let Isabel pass. I nailed that one. Nailed it. A dark-skinned man in an expensive suit stands at the far end of the room. A cord tethers his data jack to a port in the wall. He's jacked into the hotel's media library, probably enjoying some slick, professionally produced SimSense fantasy or something like that. Doesn't even know that I'm in the room. Might as well have a little look around then. Sabadek sits on the table opposite Isabel. She rotates her PDA to give you a view. It's a custom job. The display has been pulled from a Fuji model designed for export in the UCAS. Keyboard, blah blah blah. The case is heavily modified Ranraku design, blah blah blah. That might be the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Grab it, but hurry. Grabs the Cyberdeck. It doesn't budge. He turns his face. Excuse me, that deck is mine. It's also maglocked to the surface of my desk. Now stop touching it, please, or I'll be forced to call security. Say, I heard that you had the most impressive Cyberdeck at the show. I had to see it for myself. That's true, I do. That doesn't give you the right to break into my room and fondle it, though. Ah, you want to tell me what a caterer cares about custom hardware? Say, yeah, I'm a caterer, but that's just a job. Decking's my life. Alright, you love decking. Sure, everyone needs a hobby. So here's what we're going to do. I'm giving you a choice. You can tell me what you want, you can back up on out of here, or I can call security. Neither of us wants to do number 3. Your deck is a beautiful piece of workmanship and I want it. Maybe I could buy it? She's not for sale. Tell you what though, I could be convinced to let you crack the case open and take a look inside. Maybe you could learn a thing or two. Okay, Isabel, thank the man, look at the box, and get out. Hey man, thanks. I really appreciate it. I always love looking at custom builds. No problem. There's a case release catch under the parallel port. Give it a once over. Take notes if you want. When you're finished, be sure to close the door behind you. This is some genuinely impressive work. Thanks, Wolf. In a day of unpleasant surprises, this was a really nice one. That's great. Hurry up. Oh, that was pay data. Nice. And this is just another elevator. Okay. Let's get out of here. That's done it, by Jove. I can't open any of these other doors. That's so sad. Hello, Rhombus. I'm going to beat you now. As you burst through the door, you find yourself standing face to face with a small, heavily tattooed man. Geometric shapes of all descriptions trace their way from his temples, down his cheeks and neck to his shoulders. His eyes continue the motif. Each of the irises is a slanted rectangle. Rhombus looks at Isabel and sighs. You finally won him back, huh? The memories that we locked away. I always knew that you would one day, but you got so hostile after the procedure, I didn't think you'd come around this soon. I'll get bent, Rhombus. I got hostile with you because you got hostile with me. Like hell I did. I tried to give you some advice, as a friend. If memory serves, you called me a patronizing bastard and slagged my deck. Was I just supposed to take that without punching back? Hang on a second. I called you a patronizing bastard because that's what you were being. You wouldn't have taken that tone if I were a guy or an orc or a troll. You talked down to me like I was your little sister or something. Well, guess what? I'm not. Whoa, hold up. I talked that way to you because... Also, punch back. That's a funny way of putting it. You tailored an ESP to troll all of my posts on Shadowrun. What kind of a prick would do a thing like that? The kind whose cat you had killed, you little monster. Captain Whiskers was just a house cat. He didn't have anything to do with this. That wasn't me. I would never hurt a cat. If I was going to have someone killed, it would have been you. Both of you shut up. There is a moment of stunned silence, then Rhombus licks his lips and speaks. I can't believe this is happening to me. All over me trying to do you a favour. That'll teach me for trying to give a friend some advice, I guess. Oh, boo-hoo. Your unsolicited advice wasn't appreciated. I'll cry you a river. It wasn't even like that. I wasn't telling her what to do with her life. I just wanted to tell her what RAM to pick up for a new deck. I mean, it might not have exactly been that, but it was trivial. She's the one who took it personal. It wasn't what you said, Rhombus, it was how you said it. And the argument was nothing. It was what you did after the argument that was unforgivable. Taking the moral high ground isn't going to work for you here. You attacked me first, for no reason. Okay. From what I'm getting here, you both hate each other, but you were friends, right? Once, I guess. You guess? You let me perform amateur brain surgery on you. Hell, you begged me to. We were friends, Isabel. Good friends. And then you went and messed it all up. Both of you shut up. I get what's happening here. This is an argument about nothing that spun out of control. You don't know any... He's right, Iz. That's exactly what it is. Look, you want the encryption key for the memories that we locked away? It's yours. I don't envy you the pain that you'll feel when you unlock them, but that's your decision to make. Wait a minute. That's the software that we're here to find? An encryption key? Yes, I had Rhombus move the memories out of my childhood into headwear storage. That's why I couldn't give you any details about the walled city. I didn't have access to them. There, check your inbox. You've got the key. Do with it what you will. I was holding onto it for you anyway. But I thought that we were enemies now. We were, but there was no reason for us to be. Just take the key and go. Have a nice life. I will say nothing. Finally she speaks. I'm sorry, Rhombus. I don't know how things got as bad as they did, but I'm sorry. I'm going to find out what happened to Captain Whiskers. I promise you that. That'd be nice of you, Iz. I'd appreciate it. Oh, and Iz, I've got something of an admission to make. Look, I get it, Rom. You've always liked me. I hate to break it to you, but it was never that big of a secret. And I know that's why you... What? No, Iz, no. It's not that at all. I mean, you're a nice girl at all, but just no. But then what? My panic button. I tripped it when you broke in. The cops are on their way. But wait, don't freak out. I'll call them off for you. Oh, thanks. Hey, what are friends for? You just wait here. I'll go meet them in the hall and draw them off to another room. Shouldn't take 2 seconds. Oh, and Iz, it was nice catching up with you. Good luck with the whole memory thing. You're going to need it. Hello, security. I had to flee. Get me out of here, quick. Can I leave? Hello, Captain. Stand back, please. This is a police matter. Sure thing, officer. Keep up the good work. Enjoy the show. Oh, did they say 203? Was it that room? Even though he clearly burst out of a different room. But never mind. Confirm. We did it. We're just over an hour into the stream. We've finished a mission. Fuck yeah. The bus back to Kai Tak is quieter than the ride in was. Your fellow passengers sit crumpled in their seats, barely moving, barely speaking. Their DECCON 2056 t-shirts hang loose on their frames, and their once-cherished guest badges have been crumpled into their pockets. You've seen more lively groups on their way to the morgue. Isabel looks up at you, her eyes full of the same post-con fatigue that you see in everyone else's. She gives you a small smile and taps her temple with a fingernail. You've got what you came for. The show's over. Time to go home. I shall go home. Okay. Right. Let's do the rounds. I'm hoping there's not... Optional get some rest. Hey, Wolf. Been hearing more about you. I suppose I'm doing my job right then. Don't sweat it. Your secrets are safe with me, though I do wonder if what I've heard is legit. I heard you might have killed some guy, or even maybe a couple dozen guys. Maybe even that you're a terrorist. Not sure that one fits, but you do look like a heavy hitter. I'm a lover and a fighter. Club 88 caters to both. And you're in the right company with me. You know what they call, that they called me the untouchable? Never taken so much as a scratch. Of course, my snot brother says it's because people are afraid to hurt me, else they might lose face with our parents. As if that would ever stop some of these punks, am I right? Not a scratch. Of course, things that get stopped by this stuff don't count as scratches. Handled some rough customers, have you? It's what I do. Think about it. Inside, my brother sells the kind of things that would make a Buddhist monk turn psychotic. And then in the back, my ma is selling enough firepower to blow the roof 6 times over. In other words, we sell petrol and matches, and yours truly is the firefighter. But this firefighter ain't never been burned. Not once. Pretty impressive, right? You just let me know if you need some additional muscle. You can call me on Mr. Untouchable to get the job done. Tell me about your family. You may think I'm impressive, and sure, my brother Callum and my ma both work hard to keep the place afloat, but people don't realise the thing about my bar. He's not just some old sailor. You want to know the secret? He was a pirate, one of the very best, over 20 years at sea, and he was never caught. Untouchable, just like me. You ask him about it, and he'll deny it. I'm sure he's made enemies over the years. Got to play it smart, keep his past a secret, but I figured it out a long time ago. He's a great man, my bar. That's why I got to be strong, to live up to his example. How much do you bench press? I don't bench press. I do dumbbell presses. They're more functional. The bench press artificially stabilizes things too much. But to answer your question, when I do bench, I max around 700 kilos. That's double the current world bench press record for unmodified humans, by the way. Well done, Frederick. Okay, into the nightclub. Another new person. The most immediately noticeable thing about this orc is his immaculately maintained red mohawk. Hey there, Chief, what's cracking? Do I know you? No, but you might want to, at least if you know you need a shaman on your crew. Killuminati Alabrad, at your service. Haven't had a chance to get established in Hong Kong yet. Maybe you can help change that. How do you know I'm a Shadowrunner? Are you kidding me? Everyone around here knows about you. I guess they don't get a lot of foreigners who move in and immediately start cozying up to the local Yellow Lotus straw sandal. The rest of us have to show up here and hope somebody needs a hired gun. What kind of shaman are you, Kill? The kind with a shotgun and a penchant for bad luck. I kill myself. Seriously though, Coyote guides me. Really? Me too, actually. No kidding. I knew I liked you for a reason. Illuminati takes a long swig of his beer, watching the foam swirl around the bodies as he lowers it. Always like it when my hunch about someone ends up having a reason behind it. Like most shaman, I felt his call when I was a teenager. I'd been running with the local gang, trying to scrape together enough money to starve. One day, we were just having a dust-up with the Black Hammers, and I just felt this force. It welled up in me, and the next thing I knew, the knives just bounced off my skin. Things being what they are, I decided to make some real money. I ditched the gang and started hiring myself out to whoever offered the most union. It's all I've ever done, but I'm good at it. You're not likely to find better, in fact. You sound North American. Sure. Born and raised in Federal Way, Seattle Metroplex. Not as bad as the Redmond Barrens, but still a total hellhole. Kinda missed the big grey Northwest, but I guess being swamped by monsoons here in the FEZ is still similar. Less acid in the rain, though. Why'd you leave? Things were going pretty heavy for me. There was a big blowout with the Universal Brotherhood and a lot of bad magic going on. I decided it'd be better to lay low out here until things calmed down. I think I might be here longer than I expected though. Cash isn't coming in as fast as I'd like. What do you think of Yoi? Frankly, I hate it. The walled city gives me the creeps big time. Something's seriously wrong with that place, and I don't mean that it's a slum kind of way. What's your step if you have to go in there? Good advice. I've had enough of it for one lifetime already. There's something off with the walled city's aura. Something in the astral is just sick there, but I can't tell what. It's like all that misery and pain is just building on itself. Even misery empowers all the other miseries there. I'd say you couldn't pay me to go in there, but you probably could. I'm a sucker for a payday. Okay, bye. Why do you insist on chatting like this? I love you too, Henry. I'm sorry, it's just unexpected, even unprecedented. Most people leave me be. They don't know me, except maybe my name. They certainly don't know what I do here, so they have no cause to speak with me. I don't need a reason for a friendly chat. You may be the only one. It seems I go days without speaking to my own family. But I've gotten used to being the forgotten one in this place. Ermine and Callum are the faces of our business. Freddy is the face of our law, so to speak. I'm no good unless I'm out on the water. Any good stories? An old sailor always has stories. In my early years, working the fishing boats, I swear it seemed like every day we caught something in our nets stranger than the day before. Sometimes it was cargo, either lost or thrown overboard by panicking smugglers. Sometimes it was bits of ships wrecked by those super typhoons they say the geomancers cause. We'd haul up the occasional body, figure some of them were refugees, either from the mainland after the Civil War, or the Philippines after the whole mess. Human trafficking, pirates, a lot of bodies in these waters. But more and more we'd pull up bizarre sea creatures. Not sure if they were mutants or some kind of awakened critters. The small ones we always threw back as soon as we caught them. If you don't know what something is, best to assume it sprays acid or lays eggs in your brain. The big ones. A lot of times we had to cut loose the net. Nets cost a fortune, but when there was a whole boat shudders and you see 3 meters spine or tentacles or something break the surface, you know it's not worth saving the net. Those were good times though, simpler times. They got more complicated as I got older. And as the seas got ever more fished out, it's even more complicated now that I'm stuck on dry land. I guess the skills of a sailor don't really translate to club ownership. No, they don't. I want to be a good provider, but I just don't know how to contribute anymore. I think about my own father. He was a fisherman long before me. For 40 years he went out early in the morning and then returned late at night. He put food on the table in a very literal sense. In a very literal sense. He did that without complaint every week until the day that he died. That's providing. That's being a good husband and father, as far as I'm concerned. My father wouldn't have lasted a day in this life of mine. The world just moved on from what he knew, and what I knew. I miss those simple times. No, I didn't want to talk to you, Killuminati. I wanted to talk to Callum Kafai. You again. Decided to make this whole home, have you? Or like a base of operations. Oh, don't you sound all tough. Sit down if you like, I could tell you tales. Tell me a story. You ever hear the one about the Phantom Sailor? They say he was once a good man, provided for his family, loved his wife and children. He spent many lonely days out at sea, working hard to make their lives better. But the ocean takes its toll. Every time he returned, he came back with a little less of himself, until one day, the thing that came home was just a shell, the mindless body of the old seafarer, with his soul still lost at sea. The mind and body call to each other, and one day, the sailor will walk down the beach and step into the waves, letting the ocean swallow him whole. True story. How about your family? What's to tell? My brother's a meathead, and my parents don't even know or care who I am. They say they care for family first, but to them, family isn't 4 people under a roof. There's some abstract concept. It's the name that matters to them, the Kafai name. That's family. My mother only cares about the business. Any hint that I want to look for a better opportunity is met with lectures. As for Bar, well, he's never been the same since his life went into dry dock. First chance I get, I'll leave it all behind. Mark my words. Okay, bye then. Let's go talk to your mummy. Welcome back, Wolf. How can I help you? Business good? Business is booming, as always. People like easy solutions, and they'll pay good money for them. Guns are one way, booze and drugs another. This is why we sell what we sell. My son Callum doesn't understand this. He thinks he would have been happier as some corporate drone. But I've been there, and I can say for certain that it's just a longer path to where we are now. It all ends up with drinking or sometimes killing. At least we're direct about it. So how'd you end up selling guns here? Back when my husband was working for Wuxing, he had a little side operation, smuggling weapons right under the corporation's nose. Strictly small time, and barely worth the risk, but it brought in little extra money, which we desperately needed. But Henry was never very good at brokering the deals. He hated that part of the business, didn't care to haggle, always leaving money on the table. We fought about it often. One day he told me to handle it if I cared so much, so I did. As it turned out, I was better at it, much better. I'd worked in the business world before the boys were born. I knew how these things were done. So I began to make all the deals. I secured the product, I found the buyers. In time, we didn't even need Henry to babysit the shipments. Our influence had grown strong, and now we run everything safely from dry land. What's the problem with Callum? There is no problem, as long as he remembers his place is here. There are too many ideas in that boy's head, too much ambition, and ambition like that never leads to a good end. He should be happy with what we built for him. He's the eldest and so very smart. One day, he'll take control of the club and all its businesses. But he feels trapped here. He wants to be free. He wants to break free! The irony is that his idea of freedom is to work for a corporation. I know from experience there is nothing further than the truth. They don't call you wage slaves without good reason, but here we have true freedom. We make our own way. I wish he realised this. I tried to make him understand, but it only seems to drive him further away. I worry that if I try too hard, I will lose him to his ambitions. Okay, bye. Right, what should we do? Should we head down this way? Talk to the good doctor. Scrub up and get me the defibrillator paddles, Wolf. I'm installing some headers on this guy's liver. And now we're going to shock him back to life. But seriously, hand me the lube. What can I do for you today? Have you been having dreams, Ambrose? Nightmares? Nightmares? Hell, Wolf, that's my life. I curl up with a bottle of vodka and a handful of pills every night. But if you mean the toothy hunting horror dream, yeah, I've been having it. It's just one more nightmare. Let me tell you though, I've been doing a brisk business in sleep aids. Just today, someone asked me for some ketamine. Ketamine? That stuff's a horse tranquilizer. What the hell made them think of that? Can you think of any medical reason we'd all be having the same nightmare? Nope. Even if we were all doing something similar, intensively, it shouldn't happen. Our experiences are all too different. I've heard of mages and shamans who are somehow connecting to each other, sharing dreams, but that's all. Hell, what do I know? I'm not a doctor. I'm just a guy who subscribes to psychological modernista. If you want to know about dreams, that's crafty. My formal diagnosis is that something fucking weird's going on. Can I have some ketamine? Hell no, if I had ketamine I'd take it myself. But seriously, it's not something that's good to self-prescribe. You eat a bunch of ketamine, it's not going to make you feel well rested. Okay. You were a Hong Kong Shadowrunner. I was. I sure don't look like much like one now. Man, that feels good. So, there a particular way this kind of conversation goes. I don't know if you're familiar with it. Yeah, we orbit around each other for a while, then tacitly agree to speak in only the vaguest of terms. The grapevine says it's your first rodeo, but I'm not sure I believe that. Listen, I'm circumspect about my past, and you're a new, active runner, so I don't want to know any of your story. It's only a liability to me. So let's make this conversation useful. I'll cut the BS and give you some lowdown on Hong Kong from an expat runner perspective. In return, you don't dig for my job list. Deal? Deal. Rock solid. Hong Kong's a good lily pad for a derby crasher like you, Wolf. The shadows are deep. The money flows, it's friendly to foreigners, and there's no real government. The whole place is run by corporations and syndicates. However, as fresh meat off the boat, you've got to decide who you want to be. Foreign runners follow 3 career paths in the Kong. They assimilate, they burn their bridges, and they get out fast or die. Hi Alan, I do have an OnlyFans. It is just videos hours long of me spinning my wang in people's faces. Enjoy! Get that long-term face and don't embarrass people. The Hong Kong shadows grind through expendable runners who are loaded up with bad face and then dumped in Victoria Harbour. So do whatever you do, watch your back. So Kindly's keeping us around for her untouchable work, huh? Nice, just what I was looking for, bruv. Yeah, most likely. You're not just deniable, you're disposable. And she can hire that out. So, this isn't Seattle. Decide who you want to be. The other thing to remember is that Hong Kong is a really complex place. It's one of the great global cities with enclaves of every major megacorp. It's a syndicate town, it's a refugee magnet, and it's Guangdong. At some level, anything goes here. But, when in doubt, assume that old Hong Kong tradition rules. I say that as a loudmouth bastard. Be polite, be modest, honour favours, maintain face, give respect, and always treat people's time as valuable. This is the game with hours and hours and hours and hours of dialogue. I streamed last night for like 3.5 hours nearly, and there was not a single fight. It was all talking. There is so much dialogue. They just don't stop talking. Stop talking, please. You seem pretty into this, Ambrose. Hong Kong fascinates me. I used to hate it here, now I love it. I found a nice little piece. If you survive, maybe you can too. And you sure do seem like a survivor. Mate, you can't ignore them, it's the lore dump. What if they say something important? For the story, I've got to embrace everybody. People, to be fair, because I'm streaming and I'm reading it out loud, I think it's taking like twice as long as it typically would. Who needs lore? I do. Best player on the team, mate. Best player on the team. By the way, I spoke to Ben and he said he'll probably join tomorrow. Mate, when was the last time you had a kind of carling? Got me fucking carling out. Me tinny. People know who I am, but only in the network. Kindly runs this neighbourhood like a separate country. You paddle a boat across the canal, and there's no one's ever heard of me, and never would. Ambrose suddenly stops himself as if he realises what he's saying. He finishes lamely. Anyway, it's private. What happened to me was my dad came to visit over the weekend, and I was like, I'm not buying expensive beers for him, so I'll buy like a 24-pack of Carling. Then what happened was we drank about 3 of them, so I have about 19 left. We speak the same language, Ambrose. Good. I'm glad we both appreciate having a little puddle of quiet. Well, that's my wisdom. What am I saying? My wisdom is you can never be too low profile, too lawyered up, or too well armed. You're pretty banged up. Why haven't you installed some bionic limbs? Because I'm already chromed to the gills. I don't look it, but I've got a full suite. Quad jacks, no soft, radio, skill wire, tactical computer, whole bunch of... I nearly missaid that. Rigorware. Check it out. I've got an artificial liver in my chair. I want to keep my last essence. I've come to like my humanity. I don't want to turn into one of the Walking Dead. Good call. That is a lot of chrome. I didn't start my career as a bone saw. Listen, I like talking about my chrome more than the next guy, but not right now. Besides, it's kind of a personal subject. You looking for something? No. I am not. I am not looking for anything. Okay, let's go. Excuse me, where are we going? Talk to me, maximum law. I've got some metadata for you. The network runs on information. Wait, what? I've got some metadata. Yo, tell me what you've got. Never mind. I do have metadata for him. Don't I? Pay data. Metadata. I don't know what the difference is. Tell me about one power. You already told me. Okay, you've got fuck all to say. Thank God. Sick to the teeth of all this talking. Glaring Orc. Hello, Glaring Orc. A diminutive female orc regards you with a sharp, challenging look. The fierceness of her expression contrasts starkly with her sweet, rounded face and neat bob. She flexes her cyber fists. Why are you staring like that? Didn't anybody teach you manners? Relax. I didn't mean to stir. You're a stranger on my turf. I expect people to be civil to one another. No offense intended. If you insist, sure, I apologize. It's alright. I can tell you're a newcomer. I just feel a little protective of my part of town. Rosario Ignacio. What a name. I'm Rosario Ignacio, or to the members of my community, Cherry Pink. I specialize in transport missions and nanny services, and I occasionally Shadowrun for walking around money. I can also fry up a mean batch of lumpia. But you can't have any unless I like you. Then quit. Quit what? Quit what, mate? What do you want me to quit? You should know that I am not a quitter. I do not quit. Ever. Except for when I decide that enough's enough. Cherry Pink seems like an odd choice for a street name. It's a bona fide Filipino nickname. Unless you want a mouthful of fist, you'll show it respect. You said you make great lumpia. What is it? Filipino spring rolls, crispy and delicious and full of pork, or whatever pork flavour substitute is on sale. It's important to be frugal. I didn't quit on our love, mate. Lena she put the brakes on it for a while. It'll be back. It'll be back, don't worry. It's important to be frugal. It has suddenly become very important to me that you like me. Then you must earn it. Everybody wants to be my friend because everybody wants lumpia. Only a handful deserve it. You said you're a nanny? Look around you. See these Shadowrunners and dealers of contraband and Johnsons? There's a fair... The Shadowrunners and dealers of contraband and Johnsons. What's a Johnson? Because I thought that was a penis. Did I see development started on a new Witcher game? I did. That started a while back. They even did like an announcement trailer months ago, I think, with just the wolf head Witcher pendant thing in the snow. From what I remember. Unless there's been something else new revealed, because that's all I've seen. It was like a very, very tiny snippet teaser thing. That's what you saw. Yeah. So, to be fair, I think we're probably still years out from a new Witcher game. But it will be good. I am quite excited. Because Witcher 3 was so fucking good. I like being Geralt. It's usually too dangerous to keep family close. That's where I come in. Shadow nannies are a great idea. No more bringing my baby into combat situations. I shuttle kids in and out of war zones. I've gone into hiding with little ones for months on end while their parents had to lie low. I've taught children good manners, hygiene, and the proper use of firearms for over 20 years. You were in a survival situation, and you were worried about hygiene? You never had a good nanny. I can see it in your eyes. I can smell it too. You hated Witcher 3? Seriously, who even are you? You need to go and try it again. Stop being so critical of games. Give them a chance, mate. Give them a chance. There must be something wrong with your nose. I smell as fresh as a pine forest. I usually nanny children, but you're a prime candidate for some remedial lessons in cleanliness. No offense. Did the lessons come with Lumpia? Sign me up. I just want to make friendly conversation, and people only ever want Lumpia. It's shameful. No, you cannot have Lumpia. You may only desire it from afar. What happened in the Philippines that you can't go back? The Japanese imperial state happened. Supposedly, they've been in charge there for decades. I was just a little girl when they sent in their imperial marines. They destroyed my old neighborhood. I don't remember the events, but I still dream of fire to this day. Supposedly charged in, you say? It was a wasted open world. I hated the question mark locations. Played it when the first game. I played when... Oh, it first came out. Yeah. You played it when it first came out. The DLCs are amazing. Really, really good. Yeah. A lot of good fun. I think there's probably a way to turn off the question marks as well, right? If you were wanting to explore more. I'm sure there's like a way to turn off the sound posting. Supposedly in charge, you say? The Japanese ran up against the resistance from the forces that came to be known as the HUK, nationalists, neo-anarchists. But the residents ultimately gets its backing from a dragon, Masaru. While the struggle continues, the country can't heal. Never ever cut a deal with a dragon. Well, I haven't personally. I just want to be home somewhere. Well, Hyoi isn't so bad. At least the people are interesting. I agree. Perhaps you may deserve Lumpia after all. No promises, though. Yeah, maybe. I'm sure they added a... Or there was an option to turn off the signposting when I played. I didn't use it because I quite like having markers on the map to go and explore. It's like the OCD compulsion I have in my brain. Same with like talking to everyone in this game. I've got to talk to everybody, even though the dialogue is fucking driving me insane. It's like the Assassin's Creed games, right? I like to go and clear the maps. So I watch them just wash free of icons as I collect everything. You didn't run too far. Why not leave Hong Kong? I couldn't go back to Manila because of those JIS scumbags. Jizz scumbags. But there's always been a large community of Filipinos in the shadows. I sought them out. How'd you get your cyberware? There's always been a large community of Filipinos in the shadows. I reached out and they all pitched in to set me up as a Shadowrunner. Now, whenever I land a good gig, I give most of my earnings away, giving back to the community. Do you ever have regrets about leaving your old life behind? I'm not sentimental about my old post, if that's what you mean. Probably about 7 tomorrow. Well, 7 our time, so 8 your time. If that works. Good, good. But on Sundays, my only day off, I used to go and sit with the other nannies and housekeepers. We'd bring pieces of cardboard so we could sit on the ground in the shade under bridges. We'd gossip, eat lumpia and rice cake, nothing special. But I don't belong to that world anymore. I couldn't risk getting back to my old employer. I miss my old friends though. How did you go from babysitting to running the shadows? Well, I used to take care of the children at Wuxing Bigwig up in the Peak. Turned out she was siphoning corporate funds to support both a gambling addiction and an extravagant lifestyle. She got sloppy and I stumbled across some pretty damning documents as I was tidying the house. I couldn't unsee them, much as I wished it, and I started to fear for my life. She was growing desperate, erratic, so I ran. Okay, bye-bye, Rosario Ignacio. Hello, sailor. 3 people, possibly locals, are busily hunched over, avidly avoiding discussing something beneath their breath. From the looks of them, they appear to be sailors, rough-hewn clothes stained by salt, leathery skin, and an acute awareness of being on land. Nah, I asked Crafty and she said the same. Them dreams is bad. Think we'll lose them at sea? We're supposed to set out soon to make their delivery. What if they follow us? I don't think so. Gravity said these things is affecting here right now. As soon as we sail, the dreams will stop. Hey, what are you looking at, Landy? There was a boat here with a merchant selling goods not long ago. Has he gone? Merchant, he says. That crook didn't so much as leave as was chased off by Kindly. No sales permit. Not a big loss, though. The local shops have way better stuff than that small-time hustler. Why don't you look around? You'll find the shop owners have here more friendly towards you now that you've gotten the okay from Kindly. Thanks. Right, stay careful around these parts. I overheard you talking about the dreams. I've had them too. Seems anyone who comes by these parts is having them. Cheers for stopping by, Alan. Catch you later, mate. Thanks for popping in. Seems anyone who comes by these parts is having them. Thanks, Nightbot. You're too late. He's gone. As soon as they leave, the dreams will stop. Right here it is. Any leads on why they're happening? We don't know much ourselves. We've only just returned from our last delivery, but the dreams ambushed us fast enough. Hey, what about that Crafty? She runs the 5 phases. Smart girl. Might know a thing or two about this blight. You ask her, and she might know something. Okay, bye. Let's go talk to this guy, actually. Reliable Matthew. A hover drone loiters in front of Matthew, a stream of profanity spewing from its scratchy speakers. Matthew's cigarillo is dead, drenched by the rain. He stands with his signature nonchalance, but the edges of his face are twitching. His eyes are wide with fear. You could listen in, but you've already got the gist. Matthew's being chewed out. Yeah, I'll listen in. Don't pick up the sails. You're going to be digging dog shit out of tire treads for a living. You got me? Hey, Kwang Ha. Come on, beautiful. I've got a half-dozen hot leads coming in just today. Don't give me your cheap hustler shtick, loser. If you don't push tin, you and your fuzzy little pals are going to be living in a cardboard box. Don't worry, Buda. I want to hear yes, sir. If I hear anything else, I'm going to pull your eyes down to your ass so that you can watch me kick the crap out of you. You hear me? Yes, sir. What was that? Yes, sir. That's better. Now don't screw this up, you damn screw-up. The drone speakers finish with a shriek of feedback and clack back into its hole. The drone soars up into the sky and races off upriver. Matthew's cheery demeanour surges back with striking resilience. Wolf, I hardly saw you. Come in, don't be a stranger, beautiful. Who are you talking to through the hover drone? One of my suppliers, Kwang Ha. Really good businessman, sharp guy, sees opportunity where most of us only see broken parts. Funny guy, makes me laugh my ass off. He sounded unhappy. Oh, that's just Kwang Ha. He's a paper tiger. He's a big joker, always shouting, but I think he's a real softy at heart. Real big heart for the little people. Keeps me well stocked. What's your business arrangement with him? I sell on commission. Got to keep these bots moving. They don't earn their keep sitting out on the barge. You don't own most of the drones? Of course not. How could I afford them? I'm so lucky to have a guy like Kwang Ha as a partner. Only problem is he's got me laughing in stitches so much it sometimes distracts me from sales. He's a funny guy, huh? Yeah, I was laughing my ass off. He gives you a long awkward smile. The seconds stretch out. He blinks uncomfortably. When he speaks, his words sound stilted, like he's repeating a mantra. He's a funny guy. Oh, what a pep talk. That Kwang Ha. I feel like I could take on the world right now. Bye, Matthew. Shoe picks up a small black stone, blah blah blah, blah blah blah. Perhaps not there. Damn it, Shoe. When you start to move, you commit to it. I swear, if you're doing this on purpose. Friends, we have a visitor. Sorry to interrupt, I was just wondering if you're still having the dreams. This again? Don't you have anything better to do? Yes, we're all still having the dreams. However, they've gotten a hell of a lot worse. Look, let's not go into detail. Alright, but afterwards, you have to let us finish our game. Okay. Our dreams have become unpleasant, so to say. Darker, violent. Not all that healthy, if you ask me. Especially for men of our age. We come out of them in a daze sometimes. Feels like we've been punched in the senses. And the imagery. Well, I said no details, so no details. That about sum it up, Shu? Master Lao? I have nothing more to add. Shu? No, nothing. Is everything alright, Shu? You've been staring at me for a while. Shu continues to stare at you, his face pale. He opens his mouth, closes it. Seems to be struggling to find the words. What's wrong with you, Shu? You better not be having a stroke. We're in the middle of a game. If Shu heard Jin, he doesn't show it. He looks at you, his eyes widen. You need to go faster. The shadows that follow you are getting closer. Excuse us, Wolf. Our friend is tired. These dreams have taken a toll on all of us. Please come back some other time. I didn't mean to upset anyone. Enjoy your game. I'm ever so sorry. Let's go in here, talk to this lady. Crafty Zhu, do you have anything? Immediately upon entering, you notice the clutter. Somehow, the small magic shop is even messier than before. You peer around a precariously arranged tower of books and find Crafty hungrily reading one of her mother's journals. What a welcome sight. Have you found anything? No? How about you? This mind-numbing tedium is starting to pay off. Check this out. The dreams that everyone's having, they aren't really dreams, they're omens. From what I've gathered, we're walking a fine line here. They're pretty dangerous. Attempts to interpret them could lead to mixed results. What do you mean by omens? You know, omens. Harbingers of doom and gloom and bad things to come. Just a minute. Omen. A sign that warns of future events by way of visionary creatures or hallucinations. Why are they happening here? Apparently, these sorts of portents are commonly linked with malign places and disaster sites. They're caused by leakage through wounds between our world and the astral plane. Okay, great. That means we can seal them, right? I'm not sure that we can. At least I haven't found anything about that in my mother's texts yet. We don't want to dive into this haphazardly, Wolf. Remember, these omens can be dangerous. Oh, okay. Let's have a look at your wares then, huh? No, I'm joking. I don't want to look at the wares. How are they dangerous? She holds up her finger and starts digging around for another text. After a moment, she locates a small notepad and flips to a dog-eared page. In here it says these visions, or dreams, or whatever you call them, are real. They're open to interpretation, but interpreting them incorrectly can be disastrous. Astral space is a place of dream logic. Taking things you see too literally can be even more dangerous than ignoring them. Sounds like the best outcome would be for us to interpret a dream correctly. Using that term loosely, but there's no real correct way to interpret a dream, and it's difficult to separate the nonsense from the substance. Can you interpret the dreams? I can't help you interpret your dreams. Whatever they're trying to impart is beyond me. All I can do is keep reading. There has to be something in this library that can help us understand what's happening. We're already making strides. Thanks, Crafty. I do my best. You got anything new? You do. Yes. Powerbolt 3, yes. Hey. Thaumaturgic armor, yes. Lightning bolt 3, yes. Yes. What's the difference between that one? 2, 4, 15, 2, 2, 4, 13, 3. Ah. Does an ongoing 7 HP for 2 rounds. Heal wound 2. Haste 3. Why, thank you. I would now like to equip, what was it? This, which is even better than my last one. I'll put that there. That there. That was Mana Bolt, but that's Power Bolt. 1, 0, 13. You go there. Oh no, wait, you go there. Of course you do. There's my fireball. Confirm. Bye. Right, I think we can go talk to our fellows on the boat. Oh, we have levels up. She's got... Gobbet's Rat Totem invokes 99 damage to any hostile spirit, or... So your controller spirits have been summoned. Yeah, let's take control of them. Fuck them, right? Predator. Drone gains an auto shotgun attachment. Or Sawblade arm. Shotgun. You, my friend, have either a shuriken toss or a ranged bit of spit. Yes, I will give you spit. Duncan Wu, mercy kill. Yes. And you have pistol increases accuracy by 30 or reduces armor by 1. No. We'll do that. Marvelous. Confirm all. Exit. Right, how are we looking? Urgent task. From Kindly Cheng. Little birds have been whispering in my ear about an urgent and high-paying run. Steel Arm Lu, a red Pole, managed to get his hands on information concerning a prototype laser weapon in development by Ares Asia Holdings. For years, the Yellow Lotus and the Red Dragon have been locked in a cold war. Despite this, we remain evenly matched. Neither one of us can attack the other without being exposed to devastating reprisals. Lu wants to change this, and he has a plan. Rather than strike directly, Lu intends to aim external forces at the Red Dragon, specifically Knight Errant. He intends to frame a white paper fan named Golden Fong, making it appear that Red Dragon have been bribing Ares researchers for classified data. 2 leading drones have energy weapons. Researchers have recently transferred from London to Hong Kong and are running the project. Doctors Taylor and Hardingham were respected in Europe, but in Hong Kong they remain unknown quantities. They're untrusted and therefore are considered unworthy. Perfect targets, in other words. We will provide data that will make it look as if the researchers were contacted by Golden Fong and make quite a bit of money, but grew tired of the arrangement. Transfer the attached files to a data chip. The files are bundled with a worm program which will auto-execute when inserted into the appropriate systems. You need not bring a decker, though one may be helpful. You will need to plant data in the visitors' record systems, the camera systems in Hardingham and the Taylor's lab. The financial data is to be transferred to Dr. Taylor's personal terminal. That in and of itself will not be enough to ensure Knight Errant's involvement, however. Planting the data is only the first part of your task. This is where a heavier touch will be required. You will also need to steal the prototype laser weapon. There is a GPS tracking device attached to it, which Lou will plant deep in Red Dragon territory. The apparent theft of a prototype weapon by a disgruntled Triad member should convince Ares to dispatch overwhelming force against the Red Dragon, dealing them a vicious blow. As a note, Lou does not care what becomes of the laser weapon. If you wish to sell it, keep it feel-free. I have also attached a map of your extraction route from the building. During the facility's expansion in 2052, Ares Asia was forced to extend their foundations deep into the island. They drove piles through the former site of the central MTR station, which partially collapsed during the Dalu Bay earthquake of 2044. Practically, this means you can exit through the basement directly into the new MTR line through Central. With any luck, you can be gone without anyone knowing how. Unfortunately, this route is heavily alarmed, so you will be forced to go in through the front door. If you can con the front desk, you should have no problems. The facility is both an office and a residence, so strange people coming and going at odd hours is not unusual. If you're not up to talk fast, however, be prepared to shoot your way in. Lou does not care if you are loud or quiet, but a word of caution, he came by all this information via the loose lips of one of the research team. Other fixers know of this job. Move fast and you are guaranteed success, but there are definitely other Shadowrunners with an eye on your prize. Okay. Very well. Steel-armed Lou sends his regards and bids you good fortune and plentiful ammunition. The dramatic git. Don't die, Wolf. Our arrangement has been very profitable so far, and I would hate to lose that. Restaurant job. One of the things I've learned over the years is that even the rich and powerful have annoyances, thorns in their side if you will. No one is without the troubles. The rich just have ways of solving them. The client has run... for this run has grown tired of one particular thorn in his side. Chung Sing Rooster Lo. Lo is a red pole for one of the smaller triads here in Hong Kong. The 289s, or the Easy Money Gang, if you prefer. Despite the 289's small stature, Lo's illegal activities have managed to damage the client's profits. Mr. Johnson would like you to help him show Lo the error of his ways. Lo takes an evening every few months to dine at the Shangri-La restaurant in Aberdeen. If you aren't aware, the Shangri-La is an elite establishment serving primarily corporate clientele from Wuxing Incorporated. Because of this, it's not unusual for diners to bring bodyguards or assistants with them. In Lo's case, he brings a particularly brutish enforcer known as the Talon, and undoubtedly feels well protected. You're going to prove just how wrong he is in this regard. You are to kidnap Rooster Lo. As long as he is alive and in relatively good health, all options are on the table. While keeping the room quiet would make things easier for Mr. Johnson, no one will shed too many tears over a few dead triad thugs. The client has arranged an exit via boat. So long as you can get Lo from the interior to the restaurant's dock, the client will handle everything else. Despite being a red pole, Lo is a tactician, not a fighter. Don't expect him to put up much of a fight. The Talon, on the other hand, is as nasty as they come. Be careful about how you confront him, or things may go badly. I've let the client know you've accepted the job. By the time you arrive at the Shangri-La, the boat to get you out will be waiting. That's the party one. Shadowlands BBS. We've got... Jesus Christ. Typhoon warning. This newscast just aired. If anyone wants to watch real-time ISOBAR data of Earthsat images of the storm, the basic service paywall on Skywatcher imagery is easily circumvented. The Imperial Japanese Meteorological Agency today issued an advanced typhoon warning for the northern Philippines and the coast of the Guangdong Confederation, as the tropical storm Asagi has grown into a full-strength typhoon, Category 3 in the Pacific. Typhoon Asagi formed late in the year for such a powerful storm. Meteorologists credit this growing trend of awakened cold-season typhoons to global warming and powerful magical vortices in the eastern Pacific, which appears to help drive moist air convective over cooler ocean waters. According to the official release by Lance Inrocky of the IJMA, Usagi is now identified as an awakened storm. We have observed strong lightning activity, electromagnetic anomalies, and extreme concentrations of awakened seabirds along its edges. Awakened storms exhibit anomalous physical and magical behavior. Many experts believe they show reactive intelligence and possibly even self-awareness, and will resist making landfall to prolong their lives, even holding position against prevailing winds. Study of these storms is inhibited by their extreme environmental conditions and astral turbulence. In physical strength, Usagi may peak as a violent typhoon Category 5 on the Eastern Pacific scale, but will weaken substantially before making landfall. Although mariner lore is replete with tales of malicious storms, scientists have detected no provable animosity towards metahumans in the behavior of these miracles of nature. Learn more on wild storms of the Pacific, this week's episode of Savage Nature, with host Bertrand Madonica. The Guangdong coast will likely have a long precursor battering with drenching rains and moderate rings as Usagi stalls offshore. Usagi is one of the more powerful storms of the season, but not unusual. Usagi does not have super typhoon potential. This is going to be perfect. A long soft hit by Usagi, lots of electromag interference, security and cops all tied up. It's running season. Hope everyone's ready for a high operational tempo. Our fix is already scrambling for crews. I heart storms. Come one, come all, and welcome to what could very well be the last Shadowrun Poetry Slam. There's something kind of sad about that. End of an era. In honor of Jive Bert, I created an expert system that writes haikus. It takes whatever's being said in a thread and turns it into a poem. Mind if I fire it up? Snazzy, you shouldn't have. What kind of poetry slam includes bots? This is lame. Homage to Jive Bert, the program stirs, churns out text. 3 lines, mar the piece. Haha, that's brilliant. Now I can hang up my quill. I really don't need that bot. I really don't buy that a bot can produce poetry like a living, breathing, feeling human being. Sorry. This is bullshit. Despair grips the poets. A machine crafting haikus. The Jive bot breaks free. Was that supposed to happen? The slam is now slammed. This program has broken loose. Pandemonium. Well, look on the bright side. How much damage can a runaway poetry bot do anyway? You fucking people. The hunt continues. And despite their efforts, no one has yet come forward. The government of Henan has denied all connection with the terrorist fugitives, even going so far as to say the White Star organization no longer exists. There has still been no word from the HKPF on the whereabouts of the fugitive terrorists. The mood on the street is nervous. There is no telling when or where these terrorists will strike. For now, the Special Duties Unit of the HKPF remains on active alert, ready to respond at a moment's notice. This is Sunny Chung with Horizon News signing off. What a load of crap. How are they going to convince us a bunch of crazy terrorists got into the FEZ and just disappeared under their noses, huh? This would never happen if Lone Star were the sole police force here. Sure, because heavily armed terrorists never sneak into Lone Star cities like Chicago and Seattle, only to disappear and remain free to roam the streets after they engage in public gun battles. There's no way Henan is connected to these people. If they really were White Star, they'd have struck already. Their entire modus operandi is suicide bombings and civilian casualties. If these people are hiding, they're probably on the wrong side of a setup. Sure, because everyone in the shadows is just some bleeding heart fighting the Megas because they believe in freedom. Grow the hell up. Looking for a tailor. Searching for a tailor for some unusual custom work. I might know a guy. Is this for armor? Not exactly. It's a surprise birthday gift for a friend. A friend's drone, actually. What exactly do you want a tailor to make for a drone? A cat costume, with soft little ears and paws. Or, better yet, a bear suit. Oh, a red samurai outfit. I even have reference that I can provide. Okay, you got a fat stack of Nuyen? This is going to cost. I'll find the Nuyen. Can you help me? This will be so worth it. Yeah, I'll hook you up. That was probably Nugget, right? Or not. She's not. What's she called? Nugget. I don't know. Can't get a flight to Seattle. Hey, I've got a problem. I'm hoping one of you can help. I came out to the FEZ 2 weeks ago to work. Now that the job is wrapped, I've been trying to get an under-the-table flight to Seattle for the past week. Off the books, no passport control, that kind of thing. Nobody's making the trip. What gives? Check the news feeds, man. Haven't you heard? The Seattle is on lockdown. Nothing coming into or out of the city without a thorough search for at least another week. They caught some smugglers trying to move some really nasty stuff in through a covert landing at Discovery Park. That seems like an overreaction. Tons of awful stuff moves through Seattle every day. What's so different about it this time? Not like this. You didn't hear it from me, but I have some friends with the ICE. They say whatever it was, it set off the radiological alarms off the Coast Guard ship that was sweeping the area. We're talking fissionable material here, enriched and ready to go in a bomb. No way, I don't buy that for a second. More likely some corp had an accident with one of their ships and dumped some radiological material. They just don't want to admit it, so City Hall's covering their asses. Don't dismiss the news so lightly. The smugglers were carrying cargo for winter night. It's only pure luck the cargo was intercepted at all. Who the hell is Winter Night? Sounds like a goblin rock band. Not who, what. All you need to know is this. Winter Night is bad news. You cross them, they destroy your life. You ever run into any of them on a job? I suggest a solution that comes in 7.62mm. New Pinoy in Hong Kong. Hi there. Just arrived in Hong Kong from CFS and want to meet other runners from the Philippines. Salamat po. Anyone? I make really good pancit. Well, why didn't you say so right away? Kumsta po kayo? Lots of former Hook families here. Welcome. Hi, Tagasan ka. Me from Manila, Amadeka. You? QC here, Amadeka too. Pancit is fine and good, but can you also make dinuguan? PM me if you can. Kumusta. Nice to meet you, QC Blues. Hi there, Street Mage here. Might know some Pinoy runners looking for a new decker. Welcome, welcome. I've got pay data. Okay, that was all the jobs. Let's go talk to some people. And we'll start with our samurai friend. Hello, box of mementos. Gaichu's box of personal effects is overflowing with a collection of souvenirs, mementos, and knickknacks. There's no rhyme or reason to the collection of items. They appear to have been thrown in haphazardly. Laying atop the box are a collection of antique Japanese coins, inside an overturned wooden mask, and a black lacquered box with a gold inlay. Gaichu cocks his head, sniffing the air in your direction. Ah, I see you found my box of personal effects. Please feel free to examine whatever you like within. Just take care to put them back when you are done. I do not own much, but the things I keep on are very precious to me. They are all that remains of my former life. Examine the wooden mask. The wooden mask is extremely light. It's been painted a pale white, and the surface is almost as smooth as porcelain, though it lacks the sheen of lacquer. The face traits are delicate, almost feminine, and feature lifted eyebrows, bright red lips, and delicately carved teeth. The teeth have been stained a deep black, barely visible past the slightly parted lips. The expression, while kindly, is ambiguous and uncanny. Viewed from above, the expression is one of calm contentment. Shifting the mask to view it at an upward angle causes the expression to seem melancholy, almost pained. What's this wooden mask, Gaichu? It is a mask from the historical No play, Ikuta Atsumori. The face is that of a young samurai, Taira no Atsumori. I had a collection of a dozen or so No masks when I was younger. That is the last remaining one, and my personal favourite. What's the difference between a normal play and No? No actors wear those masks to cover their faces. The angle they hold themselves at changes the expression of the mask. So the acting is highly rigid and controlled. The entire performance is highly ritualized. There's no measure of improvisation allowed, only refinement of the prescribed form. The words are sung like in Western operas and accompanied by a set of musicians known as a hayashi. The hayashi keeps time with several drums, a flute, and a chorus in the Greek theatrical sense, I mean. Unfortunately, No is an unpopular art in modern times. I expect this is because all of the plays are conducted in classical Japanese, which is not comprehensible to the general public. I have heard that the creators of No, a father and son in the 14th century, took inspiration from magical rituals at Shinto shrines. It's said that by placing masks upon their face, the actors become possessed by the spirit of the characters they play. There are worse fates, I think, than to embody the spirit of a tragic warrior like Atsumori. What's the play about? A young man travels with the priest who raised him to Ikuta Shrine to commune with the spirit of his father, Taira no Atsumori. The young man's father died at the Battle of Ichi-no-Tani when the son was only a baby, and he wishes to know who his father was. The pair stay the night in a small hut. In the night, the hermit in the hut explains that he is the ghost of Atsumori. Atsumori has been granted a brief reprieve from his time in the afterlife to speak to his son. During the night, they speak of the battle in which Atsumori was killed, the history of the Taira family, and their philosophy. Atsumori fades into darkness as he finishes the tale of the Taira's downfall, just as the family itself faded into obscurity. So think we, yet oh that we might change this fragile dream of joy into the lasting love of waking life, says Atsumori before fading. It is a tale of sorrow, love, and the burden of war upon the dead and living alike. The price one pays for war is not always in one's own blood alone, but in the shattering of one's own family. Why is it your favourite? A measure of civic pride, I suppose, and I like the story. Taira no Atsumori died at the Battle of Ichi-no-Tani, just outside Kobe. The play takes place primarily at the Ikuta Shrine, which is located in downtown Kobe. In old cities in Japan, especially in Keihanshin, I have always felt there is a sense of history wherever one looks. The skyline might have skyscrapers and delivery drones, but the foundations are laid on the bones of the dead. I think it's important to remember their sacrifices and joys, sorrows and glories. This is why sometimes I worry that I'm a sentimentalist at heart. The box is a deep, glossy black cube. The edges and corners are rounded rather than sharp, and the gold flake inlay across the surface glitters even in the dim light of the room. Sliding the top off, the interior contents are revealed, a calligraphy set complete with inkstone and block brushes and paper. Geiku wrinkles his nose, his expression one of distaste. Oh, that thing. It's a beautiful set, but it's a shame that I'm unable to make use of it. Surely you used to be able to. No, my handwriting has always been absolutely terrible. Whatever fanciful stories you may have heard of being able to tell a swordsman's ability by his handwriting, I assure you that they're wrong. The set was a gift from a professor of Japanese literature. He appreciated my interest in the classics, the tale of the Heike, the tale of Genji, the collection of 10,000 leaves, etc. I think he wished to encourage me to cultivate non-martial interests. I appreciate the gesture, but my attempts at fine calligraphy mostly resembled excited chickens prancing over paper, their feet soaked in ink. Okay, now let's talk to you. The cabin's in far better state than it was previously. The heat has been adjusted down and the ventilation restored. The boxes of junk and parts that have been stacked are neatly arranged, and Gaichu's small amount of personal gear is tucked away in a corner. There is a small mat in the centre of the cabin that looks like it doubles as both a rug and a sleeping pad. Hello again, Wolf. Is there something I can assist you with? Looks like you've carved out a nice little spot. If you say so. I doubt it will be suitable for the others, but I do not require much by way of space, and I have few possessions. As long as I have a quiet area in which I can sit and relax, I'm happy. Now, what did you wish to discuss? Thoughts on the last run? I'm not certain what insight I could grant you. I was not present in that mission, so my understanding is purely second-hand. What were you reading? It is called Hagakure, Hidden Leaves, written by Yamamoto Tsunetomo, as a treatise on what it means to be a samurai, and how one should best serve one's lord. Required reading for the Red Samurai, unsurprisingly. Wasn't he forbidden from killing himself when his lord died? You know of him, then? Yes, that is Tsunetomo. He was eager to die and show his loyalty, but Lord Mitsuhige had always found that custom to be wasteful. The author has a central thesis. When there is a question of life or death, always choose death. Throw oneself into the fray with no resignations, and act on instinct alone. My current state of affairs speaks the truth of this more robustly than any lesson in a dojo. Doesn't sound too different from life in the Redmond Barrens. Truly. I have fought a few Shadowrunners in my time, and I admit they have always proven more tenacious opponents than corporate soldiers have. On the street it's always life or death. You get a lot of practice. Then I am not surprised at the prowess of those I have encountered. Soldiers train, but rarely against real opposition. Tsunetomo believed that to truly embody the virtues of a samurai, adherents should be mindful of their path at all times. Never stop training. Always question how one's actions reflect on their lord. Above all, be prepared to do your duty instinctively at any time, no matter the cost. If I recall correctly, the author was a bureaucrat who never fought anyone. That is true. Tsunetomo never fought anyone, and some have criticized him for trying to speak of being a warrior without ever lifting a sword. But I believe that he has many things of value to say. He cared a great deal about the deeper meaning of being a samurai. If lived experience is the only path to truth, then all philosophers are fools. I would tend to agree with that, actually. If that is your attitude, then I fear there is precious little I can do to change your mind on the subject. What does he say about a masterless samurai like you? 7 times down, 8 times up. More specifically, if a samurai has not been a ronin at least 7 times, then he has not truly lived as a samurai. Those were different times, however. It was common for samurai to fall out of favour with their lord and be turned loose to wander. For a company of men like myself, the choice is serve or die. I want to know more about what it's like to be a ghoul. Preparing for the eventuality of killing me and collecting the bounty, make sure you leave my face intact. I would prefer to be a well-preserved trophy. Don't worry, I'll have it stuffed and mounted on my wall. Now that would be an illustrious end to my career, a severed head decorating a leaking wreck of a boat, home to extremely private individuals who will never show me off. Couldn't you sell it to a museum or something of that sort? If you wish to know about what it is like to be me, ask away. I see no reason to conceal the details of my condition. So you eat people. What's that like? What is it like to eat anything else? Or for a diabetic to take insulin? It is like that, a fact of life. I found that most people are revolted by the concept of eating the flesh of humans rather than the act itself. Taken in isolation of social concerns, humans are no more or less edible than most mammals. The flesh can be of poor or high quality, depending on all the factors you would expect, diet, lifestyle, etc. I prefer to prepare my meals as I would sashimi, light garnishings of flavour, but with an emphasis on the taste of the base meat. Do I enjoy it? No, not especially. Some Japanese are fond of pork and chicken sashimi, but I have never been one of them. But it is a fact I must accept, and if it is how things will be, I will make the best of it. Do you feel bad about having to eat people? No, but I was never a vegetarian, so why should I? It does not matter where the meat comes from. Someone who died in a car accident is as viable as someone I kill. I admit I've eaten people that I've killed, but that was of necessity. I was going to kill them anyway. Why let their bodies go to waste? Most ghouls smell like rotting meat. Why don't you? Diet and cleanliness. Most ghouls eat rotting flesh and do not bathe. I eat fresh meat and bathe regularly. Are you immortal? I have no idea. I do not believe there has been any organised studies into ghoul longevity. Most strains of the metahuman vampiric virus impart a semblance of extended life, but I do not believe that the Krieger strain is one. Somehow, I think it's more likely that I will die in combat than of old age, no matter how long I live. It might be interesting to ask a doctor. To what end? I live by the sword and I will die by it. I have no illusions about my chances of growing old. How would I live out my days? In a rural country village, eating people who happen to expire on the nearby roads? That will not be my fate. What's the deal with your teeth? What deal are you referring to? Did you file them into those points? No, they are actually new teeth created by the infection. I suppose it's a natural advantage to have teeth that are better suited for carnivorous pursuits. We were talking about your father bailing you out of jail. Ah, yes, I do recall you asking about that one. You said that if I came back, you'd tell me. I have given you my word and I intend to keep it. Do not be concerned. I simply have not spoken of my family for a long time. Are you close? Not any longer. I have not seen my mother for many years now, nor my mother or sister. No, I have not seen my father for many years now, nor my mother or sister. I wish I could say that I miss them, but I feel that I hardly know them after so many years apart. Yasujiro gave me an ultimatum after my run-in with Shiawase security. He told me that he had cut a backroom deal with a rival in Shiawase to keep me out of prison. The charges would be suspended if I finished high school and studied at Kyoto University with the intent of joining Renraku. If I did not, Shiawase would take me into custody and I would spend time in prison. Typical corporate politics at work, the rich protecting each other. That is one perspective. I prefer to think of it as a man protecting the son that he loved because his son was stupid and thoughtless. This was the act of a man harming his company to protect his family. I do not think that is a common quality in these times. I had always taken my family for granted. Raised in a Renraku family, going to a Renraku school, I always had a sense of place, of belonging where I was. The thought of all that vanishing, I simply could not imagine it. Suddenly, the reality of my actions became clear. From then on, I tried to be the son he wanted, and he seemed glad of it. We grew much closer over the next few years. He took time off to visit me when I was living in Kyoto. Why was that unusual? He was a very busy man in those days, a lot of responsibility and very little time for himself. I was impressed that he could carve off as much time as he did just to go camping with his son. A lot of nice wilderness in that part of Japan, I bet. Very much so. The land around Kyoto is protected from development due to the historical and cultural significance. Most of the mountains are considered sacred, so the Diet declared them a national preserve. We made several trips to the area between Kyoto and Nara, around the village of Ide. We camped in the mountains above. We would hunt wild deer and boar there, using my family's antique arquebus. Arquebus. How do you pronounce that word? Arquebus, or arquebus. That was a strange choice of weapon. It's a choice of expediency. It's nearly impossible for a private citizen to own a firearm in Japan, which is why you may so often read of Yakuza attacks involving swords and cleavers. As the Tanegashima that my family owns is from the 18th century, it's exempt from ordinary regulations. Perhaps ironically, hunting with my father is how I learned to prepare raw meat. Strange to think that such activities served as training for my current state of affairs. So what is the process? How do you prepare it? Soak the meat in brined water and simmer it at a low heat for several hours. Let it cool and repeat the process over several days. It cannot get too hot or I'm unable to eat it. This process brings out the collagen in the meat. When it is done, I spice it with ginger and sansho pepper. Again, not too much. Mundane food is anathema to me. Those were the good days. I am sorry I cannot go back to those times. When one joins the Red Samurai, one must give up all attachments of one's previous life. The company, the code, and the units become your entire world. That's an incredible amount of focus. It is. That is why the selection process is so rigorous and so many fail. There is no shame in failing. Simply being allowed to participate in the test is a mark of excellence. Applicants must be human, Japanese, and utterly devoted to Renraku. Your unit becomes your family. Your commander is your father and mother, your teammates your siblings. Red Samurai are not allowed to reveal our identities and positions to anyone outside the Special Operations Group. Even if we wanted friends outside the unit, we could not have them. So how did you end up joining Renraku military? A fair question. Given my youthful indiscretions, are you familiar with Kempeitai on the Japanese political force? Yes. Much like the commissars of the Soviet Union, they are responsible for enforcing political and social orthodoxy. Not only concerned with the army, the Kempeitai also enforce certain laws with regard to the general populace. It's my understanding that they're a Gestapo. That is not entirely accurate, but it's more correct than not. It's an organisation with little oversight, broad powers, and simple recruitment methods. As such, power tends to get the better of most members. When I was enrolled at Kyoto University, I studied global security and political science. It is the major generally used as a gateway to private security postings with both government and corporate militaries. I knew I wanted to fight. I was a young man, and my blood was always up. One of the requirements was that students join the youth brigade in Kempe Tai. The youth brigade is a bit like ROTC in North America, the Young Falcons in the Shu Nation, or the District Officers Program in the Republic of Korea. Members learn to be soldiers without actually joining an army. They perform community service and promote civic pride. Performance and prestige in the Kempe Tai used to dictate later job opportunities, a bit like a good internship. Did you enjoy it? Not at first. Later it became pleasant. Power is a heady thing, especially for a youth who has few superiors to answer to. We developed a sense of superiority over others and began to abuse our power. I believe that may have been part of the point. Surely they wanted you to use your power responsibly. Quite the opposite. They wanted to engender those feelings of superiority and to encourage the youth brigade to see themselves as above the common citizens. The state is above the individual, and as instruments of the state, we were taught that we were as well. We did as we were taught, such is the way of authority of the young. What kind of things did you do? The details do not matter over much. Forced our way into homes under false pretenses to intimidate families. We encouraged children to perform on their parents, accepted bribes to look the other way. If we were in the mood, or had people arrested for said bribery, if we were not, petty behaviour, but such things were encouraged. When I was nearing graduation, I was approached by a recruiter with Renraku Security. She told me I came from a good family and could have a promising career with the company. She offered to fast-track my application towards a potential Red Samurai position. 3 years with the Renraku military as a junior officer, and guaranteed placement in a Red Samurai training billet of my choosing. The pay was good, and the excitement of being an elite was an attractive proposition. I accepted, but I did not truly understand what I was signing up for. As I told you before, they force you to give up everything, except for the company and unit. That made it clear to me, but I did not understand it. What happened? Exactly what you would expect happened. I signed the contract and became a soldier in Renraku's army. I was physically fit, at the top of my class, and it seemed inevitable I would see my desires fulfilled. Obviously, I succeeded. The training was extremely difficult, both mentally and physically. I knew that I would be isolated from my old life, but I did not anticipate the full extent of that isolation. All Red Samurai recruits report to a facility called the Forge in Chiba. You're assigned a unit, you and 4 other recruits, and for the next 2 years, the Forge will be your home and prison. It seemed ridiculous in retrospect. We were all so young, none of us had any idea what we were doing, except trying to become the best soldiers in the world, and yet those strangers became my new family in the absence of the old. Tell me about the members. That chapter of my life is over and done with, and they are no longer a part of my world. Why would you care about any of that? You said they became your surrogate family. That's important. You make a wise point. Commanders should know their soldiers as well as they know themselves. Very well. When I was younger, I would have more readily cut off my fingers than tell you what you ask. You must understand that secrecy is absolute among the Red Samurai. Your identity becomes secret, erased from any database that might connect you to the Red Samurai, other than the fact that you wear armor. You use only your code name when in the field, and your given name is known only to your commanders and your unit. Even other Red Samurai units have no idea who you really are. Contact with the outside world is cut off completely. Even once training is over, your communications are restricted. Maintaining relationships outside those you work with is frowned upon. Sounds horribly isolating. By design it is. It forces recruits to bond with their unit and transfer every emotion they have for their old friends and family to the unit they must work with. If there is a tighter bond among any other Special Forces units, I would be surprised. Red Samurai units are always 5 members, one of whom is a spellcaster. During training, each member takes turns being commander. The most competent is given the billet permanently upon graduation. Why don't they assign a more seasoned commander? The way I have heard it, they worry that it would lead to the commander thinking of the unit as an asset to be used rather than a family to protect, that they would see themselves as above the team. I have no idea if that's true or not, but that's what I've heard. Ishida was our commander. He came from a rich family in Saitama, the kind of family where he was given every advantage possible, with the expectation that he would keep the family name prestigious. He was older than the rest of us, and he'd already spent 6 years in the army, a very severe man, rarely given to humour. Takagawa was usually the second in command. As our designated marksman, he tended to have a better tactical view of how an operation should be run, simply because he needed to study the terrain more. He loved to get us laughing. Without him, I think I would have gone crazy in the first few months. Our major's name was Sasaki. She had been in training as a Miko, an apprentice priestess, when her magic began to manifest. She was in the unit for the challenge and for the money. Her family had always been poor, and they had always told her she would never amount to anything. I think she joined the Red Samurai just to prove to them that she could do anything she wanted. It's my kind of attitude, I must admit. I am unsurprised to hear it. You and Sasaki share similar attitudes. Neither of you stops to consider if your goals are attainable. You simply know that they are. Our heavy gunner's name was Aomori. He kept the team honest with itself. He never had a disparaging word for anyone, but would not hesitate to call someone out for their behaviour. Sasaki loved that about him. Really, she loved all of him. The two were discreet, but discretion only goes so far in such a small team. Still, we respected their privacy where possible. Is that kind of thing allowed? If the unit commander allows it, yes. We were given incredibly wide leeway into what to allow or forbid in our unit, the belief being that results were the only thing that mattered. If the unit failed, it would fail as a whole. Sasaki and Aomori were crazy about each other, and it would have done more harm to keep them apart. Lastly, there was me. I was the close quarters and breaching expert, the first man in the door when we had a room to clear, and I was the perfectionist on the team. Aomori could get us to do anything, but I was the one who made certain we did it well, with style. How do you mean? If a thing is worth doing, it's worth doing well. If that thing is also your duty, it's worth doing perfectly. Many times, we would perform a drill or exercise well enough, but that was not good enough, if I had to trust my life to it. That was why we became one of the best teams in the organization's history. That's the thing to be proud of. Of course it is. Do you think I do not know that? I apologize. It's just that those feelings are still raw. Even if I were to be cured, I could never go back. They have been disgraced, and I would have done unforgivable things. I would have been cast out for good. Are you sure? No, wait, I said the wrong thing. Oops. When they ambushed me in Fukuoka, it was fight or die. I killed 2 of them before I escaped. I will not be returning to the unit no matter what. It's not an easy memory to grapple with. Why not now? I need to process the emotions. It was nearly a year ago, but it still feels as raw as yesterday. I'm tired. Come back later and we'll talk more. Okay. That was an awfully long conversation, wasn't it? Ragta, do you want to also talk to me for an hour? My friend, there is something that I would like to discuss with you, something related to the Ares run that you recently accepted. You may recall my story about my former colleagues, Taylor and Hardingham, the ones who stole my research. They work at that facility. If the auto repair circuits that they took from me still exist, they are there. I need you to bring me on that run to retrieve them. Of course, you'll be the first man on the train when we head out. Thank you, my friend. You will not regret the decision. I guarantee it. Sorry about the smell. It's a long time past to purge the coolant sump. If I had access to the proper equipment, this would not be a problem. I could clean the fluid and reuse it, but alas, halogen treatment chambers are rather hard to come by, even in a place like Kyoi. Anyway, my friend, you didn't come here to discuss the ins and outs of shop maintenance. Any thoughts on the last run? You didn't see fit to bring me on your last run, remember? Not that I minded the off time. There's always more to do in this shop. I've been thinking about what we talked about last time. Be my guest. About how the drone self-repair system that you invented, how did it work? There were 3 distinct elements to my approach. When these elements were all working in concert, prototypes that utilized the process displayed remarkable self-repair capabilities. This may be a lengthy explanation. I can skim over it if you please, or I can break it down for you if you're genuinely interested. Give me the long version. The first element of my process was an outer skin that the drone could be wrapped in, a refinement of older biomimetic self-healing materials, modeled to emulate the self-repair capabilities of living beings. Imagine a polymer composite interlaced with microtubes, capillaries if you will. These vessels are capable of delivering bonding agents to the site of a wound as it occurs, thus healing it. I've heard of smart materials that operate on a similar principle. They've been around for decades, haven't they? Yes, though they remained uncommon until recently. As I said, my material was a refinement on those earlier designs. It was only the first part of a system. That synergy between the three was what made the project work. The second element involved the underlying structure of the drone's architecture, the servos, gears, circuits, etc. Utilizing self-assembling materials and redundant systems, I created a system by which damaged components could be fabricated and replaced by the drone itself, without any need for human interference. Alright, so you have self-healing skin and a self-replacing underlying structure. What was the third part? Finally, the system had a magical component. I must confess a degree of ignorance when it comes to this portion of the project. I understand some of the theory behind what was done, but the specifics are beyond me. Tell me what you do know then. In layman's terms, a magical element was necessary to render the system self-perpetuating. Obviously, no purely mechanical system can repair itself indefinitely. The synthetic skin becomes more brittle with every wound that it heals, and the automated assembly component will eventually run out of materials to work with. As a rule, fighting against entropy is a losing proposition. But with magic, we can rewrite the rules, weaken the grasp of those entropic forces to the point that they are rendered negligible. Think of magic as the lubrication that keeps the gears turning. I wish that it weren't necessary, but I am also a realist, and I must confess that it is required for the system to work. And this package of systems is what your former colleague stole from you, or you need to get back. Yes. Given enough time and resource, I might be able to recreate the first two components of the system on my own, but the magical component is and will forever be completely beyond me. That's why it's also important that we recover my research and the prototype that was stolen, and we will recover them. What do you think that a post-human future would mean? Freedom. The ultimate freedom to direct our own progress and to steer ourselves as a people in whatever direction we wish. Consider, my friend, every aspect of Koshé was tailor-made for a purpose, dreamed up, designed, and built by a singular guiding intellect. Alright. Now think of the circumstances surrounding your own birth and the building blocks that shaped you into the man you are today. Your mother and father exchanged fluids, sloppily no doubt, and with all the mindless abandon that such biological imperatives entail. That might have been the ugliest description of sex I've ever heard. Ugly perhaps, but accurate. Sexual intercourse is an inarticulate process, a messy delivery mechanism for genetic materials spurned on by hormones and base urges. Any attempt to guide the process on a societal level gets branded eugenics and decried as monstrous for obvious reasons. But I digress. The point I was making was that the forces that shaped you, and me, and anyone else you care to mention, were ultimately mindless ones. Blind, manipulative biological drives that led a sperm and an egg to collide. Add in a roll of the dice and a dash of Mendelian genetics, and here you are. The natural processes of evolution and sexual selection guide the development of our species through trial and error. Throw a billion darts at the wall and see what sticks. In the future that I foresee, this process will be reined in, guided by our own colliding, controlling intellects. To co-opt an antiquated phrase, the myth of intelligent design will become a reality, but we will be our own gods, reshaping ourselves as we see fit. Tell me again, what does this have to do with posthumanism? Step back for a moment and imagine a future in which we have fully integrated with machines. Really imagine it. There will be no niche that we cannot fill. We can guide our own evolution, tailor ourselves to whatever environment we see fit. We will no longer be slaves to the selective process that have dictated our development since time immemorial. Let's say that you're right. At what point do we cease being human and become something else instead? Whenever we choose to define ourselves in that way. Humanity is an intrinsically human concept. If we decide to rebrand ourselves as a different species, that's our decision to make. I strongly suspect that nobody else would care. There are other forms of intelligent life out there, Rector. Dragons, for example. They might care. Perhaps, but for the sake of our continued development, that's a risk I'm willing to take. We cannot limit ourselves out of fear of what others might think. Crochet raises itself on its legs, stretching so that Rector can caress its chassis. We have placed such unnecessary limitations on ourselves, my friend. It fills my heart with sorrow to know that we could be, but are not. I would see those limits stripped away, peeled back and discarded for the betterment of all. In the future, that I foresee, we will open our eyes to the possibilities that surround us. Bodies reshaped to thrive in the deep ocean and the depths of space. Bodies inspired by nature and the human imagination, or both. Bodies that can be used and shed and used again, inhabited as their wearers see fit. The timely realization of such a future is what drives me forward. It is the cause to which I have devoted my life, and thankfully it is inevitable, assuming, of course, that we don't destroy ourselves first. There's a hard limit to the fusion of man and machine. Doesn't your vision of the future require us to get past that? You're speaking of the essence limit, and the problems associated with essence loss. Yes, of course, it will be a problem, but as with all problems, a workaround will present itself. Of this I'm certain. What workaround? Essence loss will always be a problem. To deny that would be wishful thinking. Always is a dangerous word, my friend. I would encourage you to broaden your thinking. I'm confident that you will reach the same conclusions on your own. For the time being, let us leave the matter at hand. Leave the matter at that. So in this post-human future that you're trying to bring about, what role would a drone like Koshie play? A similar one to the role that he plays now, I imagine. He was designed for a purpose, after all. That said, I can see the techniques that went into his design and fabrication having a much broader ranging application. You're pretty attached to that drone of yours, aren't you? You're even assigning it a gender. Yes, of course, because she's very close to me. You might accuse me of anthropomorphizing my, that's a long word, my little companion, assigning human characteristics to him where in fact there are none. Truth be told, there is much more to Koshie than meets the eye, but that's a different conversation. Why? Because I have work to do, and I'm unsure that you can find a better use of your time than listening to me prattle on. And with that, I'm afraid that I must ask you to show yourself out. Okay, bye-bye. Right, 3 more. Nope. Hi, Duncan. Wagwan. He's going to exercise a bit. That's good. 2 more. Isabel half turns away from the octopus main display. She looks up at you. The memory stick that you acquired from Rhombus has already been slotted into one of our computer's mini expansion ports. You did good back there. That run went well. We got the stick, the key to my old memories. All I have to do now is slot it. Any thoughts on the last run? Yeah, of course I've got thoughts. It was my run, right? And thanks for coming. That's okay. Don't know if I'd call it that, but we got what we came for. That's something. You haven't unlocked your old memories yet? No, not yet. I mean, I can. It'd be as simple as plugging myself in and tapping a key. My old memories are all mine if I want them. But you're not sure that you want them. That's about the shape of it. I'm feeling hesitant about this. It isn't easy, you know, shifting organic memories into headwear storage, wiping the originals and locking them away for safekeeping. That's corporate level mind sculpting. Serious business. Locking away the files was important to you, I got that. Very important. If it wasn't, I wouldn't have let an amateur tinker with my brain in the corner of a derelict shopping mall. Whatever I've got up there, I was desperate to get rid of it. Makes a girl wonder why. Tell me, Isabel, would it have been easier for you to have Rhombus just wipe your memories altogether? Yes, much easier. Still not with that risk, but But you didn't do that. You had him move the memories into storage. Why? Because I knew one day I might need them. And today's that day. We need information on the walled city, and whatever's locked away up there could help. You're right, I know that. I knew it before we went to get the code. I just needed to talk it through with someone. Not Gobert. Gobert, that's what she's called. Someone who could take the situation seriously. I needed to talk it through with you. Hey, that's what I'm here for. Without another word, she pulls the cable from a pile and slots it, blah blah blah, fingers fly, blah blah blah. Alright, wish me luck. Oh no. No, 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 no. Oh, fuck. What's happening, Is? Are you okay? Isabel snatches the cable back out of the dish and covers her eyes. She's shivering. Now I remember why I didn't want these anymore. These are your memories, Isabel. You can handle them. Not like this, I can't. These are years of bad memories all let out of the box at once. It's overwhelming and it's horrible and I want it to stop. I can remember things that happened to friends of mine, to relatives. Things that I watched happen. No. Anything I can do? Nothing comes to mind. These memories are crystal clear. It's like all of this shit happened yesterday. I can remember watching friends die, and I can see their screaming faces just as clearly as I did the day that it happened. It's like watching a trid show, but it's my life, and it's real. Isabel, focus. Is there anything in there that can help us? I think so. It'll take time for me to sift through it all. I'll hold on to these memories for as long as I can. Hopefully long enough to reveal something useful. No promises beyond that, though. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. It could still crack in a half hour and lock away the files. Gonna do my best not to, though. One thing that does jump out of me, Rhombus archived some software up here. It's sitting on top of the memories, all wrapped up like a present. Don't know why he did it, but it looks like a combat package. My interest is officially piqued. It's interesting, yeah. I'm gonna have to study it to know what it does for sure. Looks like some sort of basic attack modification. I think that maybe I can use it. That's some good news. Yeah, it's all very exciting, but for now just give me some space, yeah? Like I said, it's going to take a while for me to make sense of this stuff. I'll come back. You know, the Kraken has really been shaping up over the past few days. With all the work that we've been putting into her, she's starting to feel like a real home. Anyway, enough about the boat. Ready for your next lesson? Or did you just want to chat? Thoughts about the last run? Isabel and her stupid rivalry with Rhombus. I can't believe she actually still cared about all that bullshit between them. Honestly, I think maybe she had a crush on him or something. Why else would they act like that? I mean, I guess getting your memories back is a good idea. But it would have been better not to lock them up in the first place. Yeah, maybe Rhombus was a jerk with how he gave advice, but she killed his cat, Seattle. Why would you let that fly? Because I sure as hell wouldn't. Whatever, I just hope it was worth the hassle. So, what else did you want to chat about? Next lesson. Yeah, that's good. I was hoping you'd want to keep going with this. It's good for you, and I'm kind of enjoying it too. Alright, this is going to be another long story, so I'm thinking we should take it in chunks. If you've got any questions, you can ask them along the way, and if you need to take a break, we can come back to it. Sound good? Okay. Good. So last time I told you about the event that brought an end to my illustrious career as a subcontractor. This time, I'm going to tell you about the run that I went on with my regular team. Was this where you started running with Isabel? No, this was long before Iz hit the streets as a runner. We were friends and everything, but she was still learning to deck back then. She was good for her age, but she wasn't ready for prime time. You don't know anyone from the group that I'm talking about. They're all gone now anyway. You've had a rough career, haven't you? Yeah, I guess that I have, but I'm still alive. That's something. Puts me ahead of a lot of other runners I've known. The truth of the matter is, as runners, dying on the job is an occupational hazard. We're disposable assets. It shouldn't come as a surprise when we get used up and tossed away. It was the same in the Barrens. Here today, gone tomorrow. Yeah, you know how it is. People die and it's sad, but there's no sense moping about it. Tell me about the team that you were running with. Sure. Our muscle was a Hawaiian Jew with poor impulse control. Big round guy with lumberjack arms and ringlets in his hair. He called himself Honu. I guess that he loved turtles? I don't know. Street names are weird. We had a tech specialist, Egret. She was tall, gawky, dyed her hair bone white. She had a drone named Arlo that followed her around like a lost puppy. She was kind of a jack of all trades, but she could get the job done. Fun at parties too. Our de facto team leader was a guy named Sui. He was a wiry troll, if you can imagine that. Probably about 2% body fat, all skin and bones. Walked with a hunch to make himself look smaller. He was a shaman, followed rat, like me. Sounds like an interesting group of people. It was, but then everyone I've worked with has been interesting in his or her own way. As a rule, shadowrunning isn't a profession that attracts boring people. How did you meet this group? Through mutual friends. We actually all lived together before deciding to start running as a team. There was this floating squatters commune out in Hung Hom Bay. It's probably still out there actually. I haven't been back in a long time, but I spent a few years living on the thing, and the rest of the team lived there with me. Squatters commune? Yeah, we called it the sinking ship. It was like an enormous raft all bolted together from an old shipping containers. Wasn't the most comfortable place I've ever lived, but the price was right and the company was good. I'd like to hear more about the sinking ship. Let's hold off on that for a little bit, okay? I'd like to go through the rest of this story before we spend any more time on the raft. After your lesson's over, I'll tell you whatever you want to know about the commune, but for now I'd rather not get sidetracked. Okay. Alright. One day, Sui brought us a job. He met a client in a Victoria Harbour bar, a rich Eastern Tiger exec. The guy wanted us to steal something for him, a shiny object. I know, it's stupid, right? But that was how the Johnson described it to us, the shiny object. That was what he wanted us to get. He never gave it any other name. Okay, so what did the client tell you about this thing? He gave us a physical description. We were supposed to look for a chunk of red jade about the size and shape of an ostrich egg, with a mirror-polished surface and gold wire inlays. He said that it'd have paper charms hanging off it, food talismans, Taoist sorcery stuff. We weren't supposed to touch those. The client also told us about the shiny object's then owner, a hedge wizard turned entrepreneur named Kong Zhuyan. So you were supposed to steal a crystal ball from a wizard. When you boil it down like that, it does sound kind of silly, doesn't it? But hey, that's the world we live in. And like I say, Zhuyan wasn't just a wizard. He was an entrepreneur, a business wizard. The guy had resources. From what we were told, the old man was keeping the shiny object in one of his warehouses. He had a bunch of them. He'd built himself a nice little empire selling magical paraphernalia through puppet vendors in the Yao Mate night market. Supposedly, a good fifth of the stalls in that place were on Zhuyan's payroll. Magical objects, huh? You got my attention. Well, some of it was magic. A lot of it was... what was in the warehouse was crap, though. Fakes and forgeries to sell to gullible tourists. Still, there was some nice stuff on display, magical reagents and the like, but sifting the good from the bad would have taken time, and we weren't planning on sticking around long enough to do that. So we'd cased the warehouse for a couple of nights before the run, did some recon, took some notes. From what we'd seen, we were pretty sure that Zhuyan was keeping our payday in a vault area in the very back of the building. Security was pretty heavy, though. He was paying a local triad for protection, and he kept a lot of their boys on staff. Sui was the one who came up with the plan. We split up outside and entered the warehouse in two teams. Team A would create a diversion, Team B would hit the vault while security was looking the other way. We'd grab our payday, regroup, and get the hell out of there. In my experience, splitting the group is almost always more trouble than it's worth. I'd agree with you if we were going in expecting a straight fight, but as a Shadowrunner, you should almost never want to get into one of those. When you're on a job, you're always going to be outnumbered and outgunned. Going quiet is inherently safer than going in loud, and if splitting the group is what it takes to do that. Anyway, Team A, Honu and Egret circled around to the loading dock like we'd planned. Sui and I waited by the service entrance. We didn't have to wait long. A couple of minutes in, we heard this ungodly crash, then another and another. As it turns out, Egret had rigged into Zhu Yan's network of automated forklifts. She had 6 of them running amok in the loading dock, chasing down workers and crashing themselves into anything marked fragile. Subtle. It wasn't supposed to be subtle. She was making a distraction, remember? Honestly, Seattle, you need to stop paying attention. Anyway, Egret's distraction did what it was supposed to do. As Sui and I watched, most of the Triad guys at the service entrance abandoned their posts and went hauling off towards the loading dock. A couple of guys with baseball bats stayed back, but we handled them easy enough. We slipped inside and made a beeline for the back of the warehouse where the shiny object was supposed to be. Let me guess, something went wrong. No, actually, it was there, just like we thought. The door was open and everything. The shiny object was sitting there in a teak cradle, gleaming with reflected light. Just like the client had said, it had a ring of Taoist talismans hanging off it, like a grass skirt, the paper all crinkled with age. We didn't waste any time. I reached in and grabbed the thing. It felt strange through my gloves. The jade sort of pulsed, as if it had a heartbeat. That sounds ominous. Yeah, tell me about it. I wanted to drop the thing, but it was our payday, so I slipped it into my satchel instead. Couldn't get the flap closed quickly enough. The package being secure, Sui and I turned to hightail it out of there, and then things went to shit. Did the shiny object do something unpredictable? No, not the shiny object. Old man Zhu Yan. He was standing there, right in front of us, larger than life. I'm guessing that when he heard the commotion in the loading dock, he'd come running, well, waddling, to make sure that his treasure was safe. As it turns out, it wasn't, because I'd already stolen the thing. He looked displeased. What did you do? What do you think we did? We had our backs to the wall. We lit the old bastard up. It was pretty epic, truth be told. Spirits were summoned, spells were discharged, the vault door sealed behind Zhu Yan like something out of a movie. At one point, the old man leapt into Sui's back and tried to bite his ear off. I won't bore you with the play-by-play of how the fight went down. In the end, we crushed him. Unfortunately, the fighting had caused some collateral damage. At some point during our showdown with Zhu Yan, the control panel for the vault door must have eaten an arc of lightning or the blast of a powerball. It was toast, all black and melted, and neither of us could fix it. So you were trapped in the vault? Yeah, that's about the size of it, and it was only a matter of time before the old man's remaining security guys found us. There was still one way out, a ventilation duct up high in the rafters, but it was too small for Sui to fit through. He was a troll after all. I had the shiny object, but if I left Sui there and security got to him, well, you do the math. So here's the conundrum. I've got our payday in my satchel, the team is split, it's inevitable that the more Triad 49ers are going to find us, but I don't know when or how many. Egret and Hono are holding their own in the loading dock, for now. I can stay with Sui to help fight off the inevitable wave of 49ers, but we'll be badly outmatched, like badly. The odds of survival won't look good for either of us. If Egret weren't pinned down in the loading dock, she could probably get the vault door open, but in order to get to her, I'll have to leave Sui alone in the vault. If Zhu Yan's reinforcements find Sui before I get back with Egret, well... So that's the scenario, Seattle. Not a lot to work with, I know. Tell me, what should I do? No. Probably that. Take the gamble and go for Egret. It's the plan with the best chance of success. You've got the payday in the pouch. Out of cut my losses climbed in. Dangerous magical artifact, hell yeah. She nods, unsmiling. That's the most stylish answer, isn't it? Just audacious enough to be fun. It popped into my head right there and then, same as it did yours. So that's what I did. No hesitation, I just made it happen. It was almost like Sui had been waiting for me to pass him the thing. He seemed eager to take it. He hugged that chunk of rock to his chest like a newborn baby. Colour swam in the stone and something changed in his eyes. Then old man Zhuan's 49ers breached the door and Sui unleashed hell. She paused, frowning, stopped scratching Folly and uses the hand to rub her eyes. What went down in that room? Well, I've only seen that kind of carnage a couple of times in my life, and I've been running the shadows for years. Those Triad men were torn to scraps by the end of it. Don't think I'll ever forget the sounds they made. I spent most of the fight huddled up in the corner for my own safety. What Sui let loose from the stone didn't seem terribly interested in discriminating between friend and foe. What do you mean by that? Did he summon hostile spirits? Something like that. Truth be told, I don't know what they were. Like I said, I was hiding, but he couldn't have done it without the shiny object, not in a million years. Whatever they were, the rock brought them here. So what happened? We waited for things to calm down in the vault, and for the things to go slithering away. I think that Sui had some limited control over them, which is why they didn't eat us. After they were gone, Sui gave me the shiny object back, I put it in my satchel and we bailed. We collected the others on the way out. They were blissfully ignorant of what had happened on the other side of the warehouse, and I didn't see a reason to change that. We hightailed it back to the docks and caught the first boat back to the sinking ship. Mission accomplished. For what I'm told, people still avoid Zhuyan's warehouse like the plague. It's supposed to be haunted, even to this day. People who set foot in the building keep turning up dead. Pretty sure I'm one of the only living people who knows why. Anyway, that's it. Lesson over. If you've got questions, go ahead. Was there a point to this story? I'm trying to find the moral here. There was when I started telling it. I thought I was going to tell you to be comfortable with breaking the rules. I don't think I'm going to say that now, though. I'm not feeling it anymore. Why not? At least your team made it out of this run alive. They didn't stay that way for long. Let's just leave that for next time, huh? I don't want to get into it just now. So we were at the sinking ship. I moved into the sinking ship when I was just a kid. I think when I was 12, maybe 13 years old. In the beginning, it was just me and a couple of rat shaman friends, Cadmus and Malvina. They were older, but they were always cool to me. Is it typical for a group of rat shaman to congregate like that? Not terribly, no. I mean, we have lodges, the same as any other group of shaman. You can usually find a few of us hanging out in those. I guess there was just something special about our little group, or maybe about the sinking ship. We liked it. We felt at home there. Didn't hurt that the sinking ship was well stocked and provisioned when we found it either. And don't look at me like that. It was abandoned when we took it. Abandoned? There was a team of Shadowrunners that had lived on the thing before us, but they bit it on a job. Cad and Mal heard the knock of opportunity, and they claimed the raft for Rat in record time. Taking over the sinking ship wasn't an easy job, mind you. The previous owners had installed traps and automated defences all over the raft. Cad had his handful with those for a month. What kind of traps are we talking about? The usual stuff, explosives, pop turrets, the kind of thing. Cad and his sister Yasmin took care of most of it without too much trouble. The biggest problems were the scuttling charges. The runners who'd built the raft had installed these explosives all along the perimeter that had ripped the bottom out of the thing if it was ever seized by the police. The explosives were tricky to deal with. Cad was able to disarm them, but he had to leave them where they were. It was always slightly uncomfortable, knowing that I was sleeping on top of a couple of hundreds of pounds of dormant explosives. Yep. Like I said, it was free. There weren't really even any rules to follow, which suited me fine. Malvina was sort of the leader of our little nest, but we never really listened to her. She was always trying to play the mum card, instill a sense of responsibility into us. It was cute. She did have a propensity for getting things done, though. I have to give her that. Anyway, after a few months, other people started showing up. Squatters, homeless people, Shadowrunners, and assorted crazies. As long as they stayed cool with us, we were cool with them. Eventually it became a community. Imagine that. Think you wound up squatting on the Kraken because of your time on the sinking ship? I don't know, maybe. Never really thought about it before, but yeah, maybe. I guess that I'm a water rat now. Bye. So, was there something else you wanted to... Nope. Hey, Seattle. I'm sorry that this lesson wound up getting a little unfocused at the end. I'm not really sure what came over me. Happens to the best of us. Well, I still feel bad about it, so look, I'll make you a deal. Your next lesson will definitely be on point, and I'll tell you what it's about up front. No more question and answer sessions. How does that sound? Good. Next time. Right, let's go get some shut-eye. You wake with a start. Once again, you're tangled in your sheets, drenched in sweat. Your throat feels like it's on fire. You can't remember what your dreams were about, not precisely, but again, you feel the yearning sensation, the emptiness in your gut and your chest, your head throbbing. You heave yourself out of bed. Jiminy Cricket. Right. Meet a friend, go to the Shangri-La, travel to the Sky Tower, go to the Ares place, go to the Emperor's Tomb. Let's go meet the friend, I guess. And talk to kindly, because I forgot to do that last time. No time for runners now, I have business to attend to. Alright, fuck you then. A rotund, balding dwarf in a cheap suit turns to face you. Light glints from the heavy gold chains that hang around his neck. Pleased to meet you. Cheng was kind enough to arrange this little sit-down between us. You can call me Dr. Shenyang. Why are you named after a city? I'm a doctor, and I'm from Shenyang. You slow or something? You're a doctor? Absolutely. Doctor of Cosmetic Dentistry, courtesy of Shaoguan Correspondence University. 2,000 new yen well spent, let me tell you. The doctor in front of you, in my name adds a little, what do you call it? Panache. Now, you're going to shake my hand or what? Sorry. His grip is as soft as his palm is moist. It's like shaking hands with a boneless ham. Ugh. Oh, there's nothing worse than shaking hand with a limp handshakes. Wet, soggy, limp handshakes. What? Looking for a little outside help on a problem I've been having. Ordinarily, I'd handle it myself, or have some of my friends see to it, but it's kind of delicate, you know? My guys had been noticed before they made any headway on my problem, so I figure, hey, I hire contractors all the time. Might as well get some contractors of a different stripe. Tell me about your problem. I run a little film studio, Southern Crown Films. We mostly do trid work, but we record some sims too. Maybe you've seen some of my stuff. Space Mongols from the Moon, The Flavour of the Pomegranates, Ultimate Kill Squid. Can't say I've had the pleasure. Oh, too bad. I'll send some over to Cheng so you can take a look. Anyway, there's this other guy on the industry, and we've been butting heads since day one. Name's Neville Ma. He runs Yellow Spring Studios. No matter what I do, I can't shut him out of the biz. He always manages to get one over me, stealing my stars. He's been running me into the ground with this show called Promises in Moonlight. The star's a girl named Penelope Wong. New talent, but the viewers have been going nuts over her. She's the show's linchpin. Hang on, I'm getting there. So about 6 months ago, Neville was out in Guangzhou for some hoity-toity party. He's on the road, probably drunk. A semi comes out of nowhere and pow! Wrecks his fancy new Eurocar Westwind. Bad luck for Neville, good luck for me. I figure, hey, that's the end of him for the year, and I can start planning some new stuff he can't compete with from inside a hospital. You following me so far? Let me guess. He found a way to compete with you from the hospital. No, worse. The bastard is out of the hospital. He's back in the game, bringing out Season 2 of Promises in Moonlight. I need that show off the air, one way or another. And that, my friend, is where you come in. Already? That's strange. Tell me about it. He should have been in the hospital for at least 3 months, and in physical therapy for a lot longer. It only took him like a week to get out. Couldn't freaking believe it. That kind of medical care costs top dollar. He's got a lot of money, but not that much. Recovery time like that means that one of two things is going on. Neville could have found himself a silent partner, someone willing to pay top dollar for cutting-edge care. I don't think it's likely, but it could have happened. If it ain't that, the smart money says that he's been skimming off the top of Yellow Spring's earnings and not reporting it to the other shareholders. And you want me to take a look into that, I take it? I need you to go find something to blackmail Neville with. Find out how he could afford to get out of the hospital so fast. He works out of the penthouse most days, so search his computer, closet, sock drawer, whatever. There's got to be something incriminating in there. Where is it? Neville lives in the Repulse Bay. It's this real swanky joint on the south end of Hong Kong Island, by the bay with the same name. I haven't been able to get anybody in to poke around his apartment because the security's too tight. Lucky for you, though, Neville's throwing a party on the mezzanine level with all the shops and a restaurant balcony and such. He's celebrating the second season launch of his show, and everyone's going to be there. Going to make a real snarl for the building security. You might also want to hit up the party if you can bluff your way in. Everyone close to Neville will be there, and most of them will be 3 sheets to the wind by the time you get there. Some discreet questioning might get me the dirt that I need. Just remember, if you go to the party, don't use your real name. Go with Argyle. Should be safe enough. There's nobody in the biz out here with that name, so no one will ask questions about how your work's going. Couldn't you just make a better show? It's not just a better show, it's Penelope Wong too. I get her, I get all her fans too. They'll watch anything she's in. Listen, it's like this. A little blackmail never hurt anybody, right? Well, except for the person you're blackmailing. It's just how things work in the industry. I don't like the guy, but I gotta stay on top of this business. I don't dislike the guy, but I gotta stay on top of this business. Now, the blackmail material is what I need more than anything, but if you can get Penelope Wong out of her contract, I'll pay you extra. Got it? I want that star power on my side. One last thing. I don't want you starting a scene while you're there. You interrupt his party, make a mess, or trash his apartment, and I'm not paying you. Are we clear on that? Why the concern? If you're going to hamstring me before I even go on the run, I want to know why. Because it's gauche. 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 And I can't have Ma knowing that I'm after him. In my business, everyone's got dirty tricks. But if you make it public, you're using them. That's it. My career's as dead as the People's Republic of China. No one's going to work for or with me ever again. So don't embarrass me, huh? Got it. Reputation's important. I'll make sure that yours remains intact. Glad to hear it. Listen, you do this for me, I'll make sure you not only get paid, but I'll also tell all of my friends that you come highly recommended. You don't seem like you deal with Shadowrunners much. Shadowrunners, Moonlight Prancers, who gives a crap? I got money and a job, and I don't care who does it as long as the price is right. What's more, I got a lot of friends around town, and a lot of them run in your circles too. So we got a deal? Yes. Good man. That's what I like to hear. When you're done, drop Cheng a line. I'll come meet you back here and hand over the money. Right. So now it's go to the Shangri-La, go to the Sky Tower, do that, do that, do that. However, what is going to happen is we're going to end the stream. Because that has once again... Actually, there's not been as much talking. There's been a lot of talking, but I think this... We managed to get through a full mission, at least. It is this hub area. There's a lot of talking. I think that's going to wind down as we tick through further missions and we get to like the end of people's backstories. And I also reckon the random people will probably drop off a little bit, but we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. I mean... If not, we'll keep doing it. Like I say, I'm massively OCD, so I'm going to keep talking to everyone. Because you've got to get this lore dump and exposition. But that is me done for the day. So, thank you very much for watching. It's been a pleasure and a delight as always. I'll catch you next time, which won't be tomorrow. Well, it might be tomorrow actually, but it won't be this game. If I do stream tomorrow, it'll be something else. Probably stream on Friday. Definitely Saturday. But yeah, let's keep cracking on with Shadowrun at some point because getting this game done will be a delight. Thanks for watching, guys. I will catch you next time. Take care.